and saving a touchback. Carl Pema. Great work on special teams by the Broncos on that one.
Well, it's one of those things that goes underappreciated during the course of a game. You get a high punt. Carl Pema gets down in position. He makes a play on the ball, keeps it from going into the end zone. And the statistics that are surrounding an offense starting a drive in this part of the field to be able to generate points is very difficult. Plus, you add into the fact you're here in Denver, you're backed up, close to your own goal line. It's hard to communicate. It's hard to hear the play calls in the huddle.
Got to give a little shout out to Paul Ernster, too. That was a beautiful kick. Sort of died as soon as it hit the grass there.
Inside their own 2-yard line. You can hear the noise from the Bronco crowd already. Frank Gore just trying to get some breathing room for this 49er offense. Alex Smith has taken every snap for the 49ers and dramatically improved over his play last year as a rookie.
Well, the addition of Norv Turner as the offensive coordinator, he plays to the strengths of Alex Smith and also Trent Dilfer. They brought in a veteran backup. Trent Dilfer has been a huge plus for Alex Smith when they're watching film during the course of the week at practice.
Smith on second down. Gore again. Frank Gore running right into the arms of Ebenezer Ekubar. So cold, you got to get the lips working every now and then. Warm them up there. Oh, this 49er offensive line missing 2 key starters in Eric Heitman. And then last week they lost their left tackle Jonas Jennings. Adam Snyder makes his first start at left tackle in his place.
Larry Allen back to his Pro Bowl form out here, and here's your skill players. They've got to Brian Gilmore, Arnaz Battle, the wide receiver group. Somebody has to step up on the outside. Vernon Davis, great potential as a tight end, but right now they don't have that threat on the outside in the passing game. And
that's a bigger problem. They lost Antonio Bryant, who was their leading receiver, to a league-mandated substance abuse suspension, and this is the second game without him, so they don't even try to throw the ball on third down as Gore gets nowhere before Ian Gold made the tackle. So it's 3 and out for the Niners.
You know, Frank Gore really talked about how he has to go and run downhill and the speed on Denver's defense. So it's going to be hard for them to go and try and cut that corner and get around that corner. They're going to have to run downhill if they expect to get any yards in this game.
You got to stay between the tackles against the Broncos. Their linebacker group has tremendous speed. DJ Williams, Al Wilson, Ian Gold. It's going to be difficult to get out on the perimeter and have success.
Andy Lee back to punt. Darrent Williams from his 44. A chance at a nice return. Good tackle as he is upended by Maurice Hicks. Well, the Broncos, it's been an up and down season for them. They came out of the gate looking fantastic, starting the year 7-2. And remember, that defense only gave up 1 touchdown in the first 5 games, but then the slump began. Defense didn't play as well. Jake Plummer was benched. Mike Shanahan decided to go with his first-round pick, Jay Cutler. This is Cutler's 5th start. Lost the first 2, but has won the last 2. And with a victory today, will take the Broncos into the postseason.
Well, looking from the outside in, I think a lot of people thought when he made the change to Jay Cutler that Mike Shanahan was playing for 2007. But within that locker room, they knew that Jay Cutler gave them the best chance to make a push for the playoffs.
Cutler under pressure and sacked. Shante Spencer with a sack in our first game break of the day. Here's Joe Buck.
Thank you very much, Kurt. It is official. It's a final from Dallas. An 8-point Detroit win, 39-31. Romo on 4th and goal comes up that much too short. A yard short. Dallas, they will not win the East. It belongs to Philly. Back to Kurt, DJ, and Goose.
All right, that Dallas loss makes it official. The Eagles are the champions of the NFC East. And the Cowboys head into playoffs, having lost 3 of 4.
Their defense has been dreadful in the second.
Here's Tatum Bell, and Bell going to get out to the San Francisco 45. Well, the game of interest for Bronco fans being played in Kansas City today. Kansas City does knock off the Jacksonville Jaguars, which means that the Denver Broncos must win this game in order to make it to the playoffs.
you know, those guys on the sideline have somebody watching the TV and making sure, hey, listen, this is what we're going to have to do, and it's already known there on the sideline that, hey, this is a must-win for us to get into the playoffs.
But I like Mike Shanahan's approach to this game, though. He wanted Kansas City to win. He wanted his team to have to win to get into the playoffs. He's not just trying to get to the playoffs. He wants his team to have some momentum going in so they can make a push.
On third down, pass caught. Javon Walker spinning. Well, he'll be stopped before he's able to make it to the sticks. Hannibal Navy's in there on the tackle. And they're right in that kind of no man's land again for the Denver Broncos, but they decide to punt. We welcome those of you just tuning in from other games as the Denver Broncos have had possession of the ball twice. The San Francisco 49ers once. Neither team able to put it into the end zone nor through the uprights. So we are scoreless with 8.5 minutes to go here in the first quarter in Denver. Kurt Menefee, Tony Siragusa, and Daryl Johnston with you from the Mile High City as Paul Ernster gets under another one. And more good coverage by the special teams unit, but unable to stop it from rolling into the end zone for a touchback.
Well, you saw him executed on the previous punt, but they couldn't do it there. So San Francisco, good field position at the 20 to start this drive.
For the last couple weeks, today's a nice day. Bright sunshine, temperatures in the mid-30s. And yeoman's work really being done by all the road crews and those here at the stadium to make it feasible for people to get here and watch football today. Niners from the 20. Alex Smith. And he just gets rid of that one. His first incompletion of the afternoon. And this Denver Bronco defense, we talked about how they started out the season. They've come back a little bit, but still one of the top ones in the league.
Yeah, and to me, it's still about the linebacker group. The front four does a good job, but really, when you talk about Denver's defense, the key to that group are the linebackers. Tremendous speed, hard to run on the outside against this defense, and maybe one of the best corners to ever play the game in Champ Bailey. Very complete. He's not just a defender. He'll come up and stick you on the outside, too.
You know that defensive line makes the linebackers better, right?
Well,
as all D linemen say, right?
Absolutely.
There's Frank Gore trying to run right up the middle and into the arms of a couple of those linebackers. Nate Webster there, he in gold. Well, we talked about the weather here in Denver. I mean, when people arrived this morning, how'd you like for that to be your seat? You're in seat 16? Here's a shovel. Go do it.
Yeah, you gotta bring a brush or a broom with you to make sure you go and clear that all off, or things start happening, you actually can stick to the seat. I've had that done. I got the short shirt, then I had the lower back, and I was stuck and I couldn't get to the to the concessions.
The old short shirt?
Yeah, the short shirt.
Dump a little hot chocolate back there to get it off.
How often do you wear that short shirt?
Well, I threw that one away, but I'm working on getting the talls now longer.
Back in the day you did, okay.
Yeah.
Third down for the Niners. They need the 30. Smith zips that one and is caught. Taylor Jacobs, just his third catch of the season, but it's good enough for 49er first down.
Taylor Jacobs does a good job of getting down, seeing Lynch coming at him in full stride there, Darryl. Very smart by a young guy there.
Yeah, there's a few guys around the league you want to make sure you know where they are, and 47 for the Denver Broncos is one of them, and he had a couple of big hits last week in that Bengal game, and it's great to see him back playing the style of football that we remember from him when he was down in Tampa Bay. He had some problems with his neck, and he actually wondered if he'd get a chance to play. So it's great to see John Lynch back on the field putting some big hits on people.
He's found the fountain of youth, John Lynch.
10-yard pickup by Jacobs from the 33. End around, nowhere to run for Vernon Davis except into the arms of your guy, John Lynch.
Well, this is one of the things that he's been able to do since he came down here. He's going to be coming in from the right side. He knows not to chase anything. There's your support. John Lynch able to see that reverse coming back his way.
And good thing he made that tackle, because all the defenders were going the opposite direction, fighting on that play action on the backside. He had two big guys in front of him. If Lynch doesn't make that tackle, he still might be running.
Boy, how does he keep doing it? You talk about finding the fountain of youth. Now in his 14th season and going to his 8th Pro Bowl. On second and long, Gore scoots underneath the front line and gets out to the 35-yard line. But you've seen John Lynch already make a couple of plays today, and last week he was doling out the big hits against the Bengals.
He's one of those guys that you want to get some of these types of hit early in the game to set a tone, to let everybody on that opposition know if you're running free in the secondary, you're safe yet.
Yeah, you talk about all these years in the league, and he's not a cover guy. You think of a defensive back as a guy who's going to cover and not hit all the time, but he throws his body in there. I mean, he's a linebacker playing free safety out there.
And has really made a transition as he's aged. Looking for the 43, Smith from the shotgun. He's got a man, but he won't have enough for the first down as that one's caught. Eric Johnson, the tight end, and Johnson knocked out of bounds by Dominique Foxworth before he could make it to the sticks. And so the Niners forced to punt again.
Now, one of the frustrating things for San Francisco this year, they've got Eric Johnson, who's been there for several years, a good player at the tight end spot. They get Vernon Davis, just a kind of special athlete on the team in the draft this year, but they haven't been able to keep him healthy at the same time. So one of the things that they want to look at today is Eric Johnson and Vernon Davis on the field together and what kind of things they can look forward to if they can get Eric Johnson signed in the offseason.
And that was really what Mike Nolan and the 49ers imagined going into the season. Running a lot of sets, but right here they fake it, ball's out, and the Broncos, no, they don't recover. That's called a pass and an incomplete pass. Nonetheless, the Broncos will take over on downs as the 49ers tried a little trickery, and it didn't work.
We talked about it earlier. They have nothing to lose, Moose.
Nothing to lose, but right there, I mean, that's a play that you rep at practice. They're trying to run a little underneath shovel pass. Bad decision. I think the guy should have kept it on that one.
Over to the Broncos after a badly executed fake punt. The Denver Broncos take over in 49er field position for the second straight possession.
A little conference going on with the officials on the field. Wonder if they're referring back to that play, determining whether it was a forward pass or not.
It was a shovel pass, so it should be marked incomplete, and it should be first down from where the ball was set to punt. Hey, football's a game of inches now.
It is.
You got to get all you can get.
There you can see they directly snapped it to Michael Robinson, the former quarterback out of Penn State, but they couldn't get it going, and so Jake Cutler and company began at the San Francisco 49-yard line. Cutler looking. Deflected and almost picked up. There's a late hit down the field that will draw a flag as Tony Scheffler is slow to get up.
I think they're going to get hit on a defenseless player.
Oof. Ball was tipped, though.
But you're still not allowed to take a free shot.
Personal foul, unnecessary roughness on the defense, number 26, for a hit on a defenseless receiver. That's a 15-yard penalty from the previous spot, first down.
That's exactly the call on Mark Roman.
Jeff Albrecht goes back. He gets a tip. You can see how late, helmet to helmet. I mean, take your pick on that one. Mark Roman could have got flagged 15 yards several ways.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see out there.
It's the fact he launched himself. I mean, he really used his body as a projectile, went up, went for the head, and it cost him 15 yards. And now the Broncos are at the 25 of San Francisco.
He gets the penalty, and if he would have probably concentrated on the ball, he might have got a pick there.
Rod Smith in motion. Tatum Bell dancing, and music stops after about 2 yards.
I think that's one of the things that he's frustrated with right now, is he feels he is dancing a little bit. And Tony, you mentioned this offensive attack in the running game. It's a one-cut move in the run game. And you get in that zone pressure scheme, the back makes one cut, finds that hole, and goes.
Yeah, they're doing a good job, San Francisco, with that with those front linemen on moving down the line of scrimmage. You know, Denver is notorious for this backside cut and having that backside cut lane open up from the guys being on the ground, but they're staying on their feet and moving down the line of scrimmage, and there's really no place to run.
Bell came into the day 23 yards away from 1,000. He's got 7 so far. Play fake too. And that one, I think Cutler's arm was hit as he threw, and it draws a flag, plus another one in the secondary. 2 penalty markers on this play.
I think the San Francisco defense got a late wake-up call. They're just they're maybe a little bit early, I guess. I mean, they're early on everything.
A little over aggressive right now, Tony.
Yeah, on the quarterback, and Yeah, them receivers, man, they're not going for the ball. They're attacking the receivers and late hits. Well, they're mad at somebody.
Well, you have to be aggressive, and Mike Nolan's going to try and instill that in his defense, to be aggressive, to be physical, but you got to be smart on top of that. And you pointed out, Mark Roman's got a good chance to make an interception off the tip by Jeff Ulbrich, but he's going for the big hit. And again, right there, I mean, that contact was
Defensive
made.
pass interference, number 26. That penalty is declined. Personal foul, roughing the passer with the hand to the helmet on number 28. That's a 15-yard penalty. It'll be half the distance. Automatic first down.
Keith Lewis can argue his case, but he won't win this one.
Yeah, well, the pass interference, I mean, Mark Roman is so early on this. You see right there. You know what, though? Hey, I mean, it depends if the ball's out of the hand, and there's the hand to the face.
Wow.
That's kind of questionable. Keith Lewis, I can see why he was upset. And now the question, that ball had come out of Jay Cutler's hand, but Mark Roman, when you're inside that 5-yard line, I remember running crossing routes, and there were some guys that played middle linebacker. I knew where they were when I was running a crossing route, because if you're looking back at the quarterback, they would light you up.
That's the free zone right there.
Oh.
2 personal fouls already on this drive, and remember, it began at the 49er 40. The officials have forgotten a flag is sitting way back at the 35-yard line.
Yeah, the way this is going, when San Francisco's defense is on the field, you better make sure you got your flags in your pocket.
Yeah, you may need it. This is a case you wonder how much, it being the last game and being on a losing team, rather than laying down, can you be over-aggressive sometimes, saying, hey, I got nothing to lose, I'm not going to play next week?
Now, because it's all about playing smart. And if you're out there playing, if you're playing stupid and you're making mistakes that are costing your team, that's going to work against you.
So a first down at the 12. Tatum Bell. 7 yards on a run by Bell. Well, one of the reasons the Broncos like Cutler is his ability to withstand pressure, they think. But, boy, he's taken a couple of shots already in this game.
Yeah, they need to get over to the sideline and find out why the edge rushers are coming free. Right there, you had 2 of them. Coming off the edge, both guys are free. And when they've gotten to Jay Cutler, it's been the safeties coming off the edges. And right now, Denver's protection schemes aren't accounting for it.
Second down at the 6. Tatum Bell towards the end zone, stopped just short of the goal line. Touchdown saving tackle made by Hannibal Davies, but the Broncos are inside the 1. First and goal.
I think Denver now, they're running downhill and not trying to get around the corner anymore and finding some holes up there in the middle.
And the guy they like to run downhill, Mike Bell, the undrafted rookie out of Arizona, checks in at tailback. Broncos with 2 tight ends as well. First and goal from the 1. Mike Bell hit the backfield. Didn't even make it back to the line of scrimmage. Big play made on that one by Brandon Moore. Leading tackler for the 49ers, showing why.
Looked like nobody even picked him up. He came scot-free right down the middle.
Well, there he is. He's right in the back of your picture. It looked like Ben Hamilton, the left guard, was pulling, got tripped up. So obviously that was going to be Brandon Moore's guy. I am not a fan of pulling linemen on the goal line because the defensive line wants to get penetration. It's hard to make that move, to come around and get up into the hole and be able to get a block on a linebacker.
They lose half a yard. Second and goal. Portland lost the ball, fell on it, but it'll bring up a 3rd down. They lose another yard. The Broncos suddenly going in the wrong direction.
Moose, you're absolutely right. A defensive lineman is taught, you get to that 2-3 yards, to the end zone. You're staying low. You're trying to go and penetrate, knock anything off coming across you. And obviously right there, they're coming off the ball pretty hard because the snap didn't get all the way up. And what you saw is a nice little fumble there. And that's a loss of down for them.
And remember, this was first and goal inside the 1. It's now 3rd and goal just outside the 2. Mike Bell.
Tony Sheffer, you got a good height advantage on the outside.
One of 3 tight ends in for the Broncos. And Bell doesn't make it back to the line of scrimmage again. This time it's Jeff Ulbrich in the backfield.
Guys are coming scot-free right into the backfield. That's what you're trying to stop as an offense, is the penetration up front.
Great goal line stand by this 49ers defense.
Well, you have 2 running plays down here, and on 2 of them, your inside linebackers come scot-free. Now, the first one, Ben Hamilton, I think he got tripped up on a pole, but that one right there, Jeff Ulbrich shoots the gap, and nobody picks him up.
Yeah, that's just a complete breakdown.
Jason Elam has made 14 consecutive field goals. Now it's 15. First points of the ball game for the Broncos, but they have to be disappointed. First and goal inside the 1. They settle for a 22-yard field goal, but they do lead it 3-0. Fishing only on Fox. Maurice Hicks takes the kickoff from Elam, pushes the pile and gets out to about the 37-yard line. Good return by Hicks, and so it will be good field position for Alex Smith and the 49ers. Well, good field position right now for the 49ers, beginning at the 37. Alex Smith has times, can't find a receiver though, and just throws that one out of bounds. Vernon Davis came open, but it was late. Well, the NFC playoff picture is all set. Right now, it's the Dallas Cowboys and the New York Giants clinching the 2 wild card spots. So next week in the first round, it will be the Dallas Cowboys at Seattle and the New York Giants at Philadelphia, with Chicago and New Orleans having first round byes.
3 times, Philadelphia, New York.
And they split the first 2?
Yeah.
Did they know each other by now?
Yeah, just a little bit. Just a little bit.
Frank Gore cuts it back. Gore picks up 5 yards on the play. You know, you look at the New York Giants, and I know they won last night and all that, but they're a team that you think you play a division opponent in the first round, it got to help you, right?
Yeah, well, one thing that's helping this running game for the San Francisco 49ers is Larry Allen, and one of the things that he's doing really well is pulling. Larry, I played with Larry in Dallas. Larry never pulled a lot in Dallas, but you know, we talked about the fountain of youth for John Lynch. I think Larry Allen talked to him because he's looking like a young buck out there.
You know he doesn't want to be pulling out there.
Lead as we start the second quarter. Alex Smith throws that one over the head of Arnaz Battle, and we throw one out to Los Angeles and Joe Buck for a game break.
All right, Kurt, the backups are in. A.J. Feely, a touchdown throw, 14 yards to tight end Matt Schobel. 10-7 Eagles after they officially clinched the NFC East for the 5th time in the last 6 years. Kurt, DJ, Goose, back to you.
All right, and of course, as we said, they're getting ready to face the Giants in a rematch of division rivals. Here's Andy Lee to punch. Darren Williams at the 8. Runs into traffic and then finds room. Williams around the corner. Good return by Darren Williams out to the 40-yard line. 50 yards on the punt by Lee. A good return of 32 by Williams, and the Broncos are back in business. 5 seed, regardless of what happens between the Jets and the Oakland Raiders, or what happened earlier today. Right now, this offense struggling a bit after that first play. Good field position to start now, though, at the 41. And movement by the right tackle, George Foster. Flags come out.
Full start, offense number 72. 5-yard penalty, still first down.
That offensive line really hasn't been in sync. You know, we saw that goal line stand where they had some major breakdowns, people coming free, and now they're having a hard time at home where it should be very easy. I mean, the fans are really quiet. We should be able to hear the count and know what you're doing.
And it's interesting because the Broncos, came into this game as the least penalized team in the league and on pace to set a franchise record, but it seems as though they just can't get it right today. Here's Cutler. Tatum Bell. And Bell out to the 46-yard line, gaining 10 on the play.
Well, the Broncos have had good field position all afternoon, and Darren Williams gives them another opportunity on this punt return. You freeze it right there. When he gets all bottled up, now you've got all your pursuit that's breaking down because you expect him to be tackled. So you really can't blame this on the coverage team. You got a missed tackle, another missed tackle. Now you lose leverage. Now he's on the outside. He's picking up some blockers. There's DJ Williams getting in the way. So, you know, I can't blame the coverage team on that. That was more missed tackles when they had him funneled into the middle of the field.
Aren't missed tacklers on the coverage team, though? Cutler sacked. Ball came out, but he was down on the play. Anthony Adams getting the sack, and there's a flag down as well in the secondary.
That was a sack right there, man. That was a big hit.
That was a slam is what it was. Not an illegal slam,
no.
Just a hard hit.
Illegal contact on the defense, number 36. That's a 5-yard penalty, automatic first down.
Shawntae Spencer called, and that's already the third penalty on the secondary of the 49ers today.
Yeah, they're giving the Denver offense too many chances right now. And you see there the big hit by Anthony Adams on Jay Cutler. He's even getting held, gets in there, gets the big hit on him. But right now, I mean, we've had a lot of first downs given to this offense by the 49er defense. They've lost their composure a little bit with some personal fouls there, some illegal contact, and Jake Plummer coming back out onto the field.
Yeah, Cutler's still down, hasn't gotten up just yet, and it looks like Plummer will take over.
A little slap in the face going up the middle 3 times in a row, and San Francisco doesn't like that.
Jake Plummer running, and he will be stopped at the 3-yard line. Roderick Green with the tackle, and once again, the Broncos get close, but will have to settle for a field goal.
We talked about it earlier, Moose, that one tackle right there saved them 4 points. Going for the field goal right here, he saved the touchdown.
You got a young guy out there, Manny Lawson. He's their first-round pick from this year. Makes a hustle play because Mike Bell is going to walk into the end zone because he had Brandon Marshall get down from his wide receiver spot, kind of create an escort in there for him. And number 99 right there, Manny Lawson, never gave up on the play. He saved him 4 points.
Jason Elam from 21 yards out now. His 16th consecutive field goals, and so far in this game, the Broncos have only been able to muster it, but it's been enough. They lead it 6-0. First and goal, and they forced another kick.
And that's huge for the 49ers because their offense isn't ready to come back from 14 down, but they can come back from 6 down.
Especially if they keep getting returns like this from Maurice Hicks. High definition only on Fox. Niners start at the 38 officially. Smith and Vernon Davis with his first catch of the day. Short pickup of 4 yards on the play, and we need to pick up Joe Buck for another game break.
All right, Kurt, thank you very much. Phillip Rivers on a gimpy ankle with a touchdown throw, 33 yards to Antonio Gates. 10-7 Charger lead over Arizona, trying to nail down home field advantage throughout in the AFC. Let's go back to Kurt, DJ, and Moose.
And Joe, now maybe you'll get off Phillip Rivers back. Joe keeps saying that he's wondering about Rivers. He has struggled the last couple of weeks going down the stretch, but it's just one of those phases. He'll be all right.
You got LaDainian Tomlinson and Antonio Gates. I guess any sluggish play has to be considered a struggle.
And that defense will put you in positions to win ball games rather easily. As that one's knocked down at the line of scrimmage, looks like Gerard Warren got a hand on it.
Well, that's what you have to do when you have the quarterback in that pocket right there, is get in his face, get your hands up, try to disrupt it as much as you can because you got so many guys in front of you. It's not like you're going to get to the quarterback. Does a nice job of tipping those balls, and that's those linebackers get them picks.
That was actually John Engelberger, the former 49er, who knocked that one down. So it's 3rd and 5. 49ers trying to get it to the 48 to keep the drive going. San Francisco with just 1 first down so far on offense. Smith flushed out, nowhere to run. Patrick Tricora wraps him up.
Got to hold on to him.
You know, San Francisco has struggled with their protections, but you know, it's kind of been one side of the ball. Mainly the pressures are coming from the right side, but today they're having some breakdowns across the board right now.
4 possessions, 3 3-and-outs for the Niners. Mike Nolan trying to get his offense going. His defense is doing their part to keep him in the game, but the offense has at least got to get first downs. Andy Lee set to punt. David Kirkus standing at his 10-yard line. high kick by Lee. Perkins in the sunshine. Flags down on the play. We'll get the call from Larry Nemmers. There's a Bronco down as well.
Illegal block in the back during the return, number 89. Your 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. Half the distance penalty from the spot of the foul. First down, Denver.
So that'll back the Broncos up. The medical staff attending to Jerome Cox, the injured special teamer defensive back right now for the Broncos. So we will take a timeout.
The celebration is almost over, so get to the Chevy Red Tag event, where the biggest factory-to-dealer incentives of the year mean the best prices of the season. And 07 Chevy vehicles come with the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Combined with roadside assistance and courtesy transportation, it's the best coverage in America. See some red, save some green. Hurry, it all ends January 2nd. See your local Chevy dealer.
When mucus causes chest congestion and coughing, it can be a late night.
Here's mucus. We'll be up all night. And now, a word from Mucinex DM. Mucinex DM!
Mucinex DM breaks up mucus and quiets coughing.
Uh-oh. We're off the air!
And Mucinex DM lasts for 12 hours.
I need a new gig.
Mucinex in, mucus out.
Don't miss the savings Sunday and Monday only at Circuit City. Hurry in for special low prices on TVs, computers, and more. And log on to CircuitCity.com for incredible web-only specials. Sunday and Monday only at Circuit City.
In 2 weeks, an American hero returns. Don't miss the 2-night, 4-hour premiere.
Hurting me. Trust me. I'm not.
2 weeks from tonight, only on Fox.
The countdown has begun to the biggest event of the new year. Party on with Fox New Year's Eve Live from Times Square with performances by Daughtry, Tony Braxton, and more. Fox New Year's Eve Live. The party starts at 11 tonight on Fox.
Broncos starting quarterback Jay Cutler on the sidelines, all wrapped up now. They say they've examined his head and he is probable for his return, but does that look probable to you?
What do you think, Darryl?
That's probably not coming back the rest of the day.
Jake Plummer in as the Broncos have their worst starting field position of the day inside the 10. Tatum Bell improves it. Going to be out near that first down spot. Well, here's a look at why Jake Cutler is standing on the sideline watching Jake Plummer.
Well, early on, it was the defensive backs that were getting to him from the edge, but right there, Anthony Adams breaks through from the tackle position. You see when he goes down, he bangs his head on the turf. Now, quarterbacks are notorious for not putting enough air in their helmet. They're wearing a thinner mouthpiece, if one at all, so they can audible at the line of scrimmage. So anytime they hit their head like that, they're very susceptible to a concussion. And we saw one of the people from the training staff, the medical staff of the Broncos, testing him for the concussion.
Here's Tatum Bell again. Back to the line of scrimmage, falls forward for a yard, penalty marker down on the play as well.
We never really got that as a fullback and a defensive lineman. If we were in that kind of a situation, we should just pat us
Holding
on
on
the
the
back.
defense, number 95. That's a 5-yard penalty from the end of the run. Automatic first down.
Another defensive penalty on the Niners, this time on Damon Douglas.
Hey, Tony, how many fingers I got? 3. Close enough. Get back in there.
That's good. Back on the back.
You're only 2 off.
You look good to me. Your eyes are working. You got 2 of them still.
And we should note, once again, the Denver Broncos must win this ball game in order to make it into the playoffs. If they win, they are the number 5 seed. If they lose, they're out. It's that simple. Jake Plummer now in control. Plummer rolling out. Looking for a man, and he's got Javon Walker downfield. No flag on the play as it's picked off by Walt Harris.
Oh, they better get some guys around Walt.
He's still going. And he's tackled by Big George Foster in Denver territory. Now, there was some contact between Harris and Javon Walker. No flags on the play. And the 49ers defense comes up with another big play. 2 stops on
there, but their feet just get tangled up. But it's just an ill-advised throw by Jake Plummer, because when he first came out on the bootleg, it was a double move on the outside by Javon Walker, and he elected not to throw at that point. Now, when he holds the ball, he allows the other safety to get involved in the play also. So if it didn't look good the first time, there's no way it was going to be good the second time.
Walt Harris with his 7th interception of the season.
I was really surprised he didn't run on that. You know, Jake had a lot of green in front of him, could have got the first down and kept the momentum going for his offense.
And now the 49ers will have not only their best field position of the day, but be in Bronco territory for the first time this afternoon.
Still think Cutler's not going to come back?
No, I don't think he can. I don't think it's a question of whether they want to put him in. If they're playing for the playoffs, they can't afford to put him.
Smith helping out, losing the handle on that one. And he fights his way back to the line of scrimmage.
Wow. You think he thought somebody was behind him, or?
I don't know if the cold weather, I know the cold weather makes the ball slippery. Does he get it from the center clean? Yeah, he's got it clean, and then it just comes out.
Just squirts right out of his hands.
We've seen Jay Cutler, he fumbled a snap down on the goal line, so maybe this cold weather is making that ball a little slick. But
Smith said he was looking forward to this. Played his college ball at Utah.
Yeah. These quarterbacks
like the cold weather.
Quarterbacks were very lucky with the ball on the ground getting it back.
They actually lose a couple of yards on the play as he went out of bounds before getting back to the line of scrimmage. Gore, John Lynch all over it. 3-yard pickup for Gore, who came into this game with a chance for the all-time franchise rushing record.
They're coming back on a counter. They get Ian Gold 52 picked up, but you can't account for John Lynch. So you got to know where your unblocked man is, and at that point they were running right at him.
3rd and long. 49ers need the 29. Smith under pressure, no chance. Before he could even set up in his stance, Ebenezer Eckerbon was right there, and he gets him for the sack. Elvis Dumerville there to help out, but in the end, no chance for Smith to convert on this 3rd down.
You know, there is a key on this play for the defense to really go and determine whether it's going to be pass or run, and it's the depth of the back. The depth of the back is only 5 yards. He's not going to go and get the ball if he's only 5 yards deep, and that just tells the defensive lineman, hey, listen, there's no reason to play the run. Only thing you have possible is a draw. Let's just go. You pin your ears back and you go and after the quarterback like you just saw right there.
So the 49ers lose 7 yards and go 3 and out after taking over at the 39 following the interception by Walt Harris. San Francisco unable to capitalize, and so with 6:37 to go in the first half, Jake Plummer will come out, try and at least hold on to this lead that the San Francisco 49ers really done a good job of keeping Denver out of the end zone and keeping in a couple of field goals. Well, keep in mind, next week, the NFC playoffs return to Fox next Sunday. Right here, it will be either the Philadelphia Eagles hosting the New York Giants or Seattle hosting the Dallas Cowboys. The Denver Broncos need to win this one in order to get in on the AFC side. From the 14. And Tatum Bell picks up a couple of yards. We should mention that he has gone over the 1,000-yard mark today, has Tatum Bell, and he becomes the 4th different running back in 4 straight years for the Broncos to gain 1,000.
You have to credit the offensive line in that situation. It's been one of those scenarios where, hey, whoever goes back there, you know, you're going to get 1,000. But, you know, we talked to Mike Shanahan about it. He doesn't really consider that to be a big feat anymore. He's more interested in 2,000 plus as a team.
That offensive line just does a great job with that zone blocking, and the backs do a great job of, you know, seeing that backside cutback.
There's Tatum Bell going straight ahead on that one. Damon Duckett on the tackle after a gain of a couple.
Well, the big thing that San Francisco has to do now defensively is, you know, we talk about it when you have running backs come in and change out. You know, what is the strength of this running back? What does he do best? Well, right now with Jake Plummer, and you've got to be ready for all the bootlegs and him being on the outside and the perimeter throwing. Jake Cutler is more of a pocket passer. You know, Mike Shanahan kind of held him in. That's one of his strengths. But now with Jake back in the lineup, you know, whatever your game plan coming in for Jake Cutler was, you've got to adjust that back to what Jake Plummer does best, and that's bootlegs and throwing on the outside.
If you're a DB, you better hug up on that with receivers because that play action is very possible.
Looking for the 34, flags down.
False start, offense number 16. 5-yard penalty. Still third down.
Plummer called for the false start.
Plummer does a great job with the hard count right there. John Elway, I remember playing here in Denver, and John Elway always getting me on that line of scrimmage and knowing it's a free play, but on this particular play, he gets his own offensive lineman. He
gets himself.
Executes it so well.
He's got to have a head bob in there, and there's a lot of people, you mentioned Elway, a lot of people accuse John throughout his career having that real hard count that all of a sudden the head kind of, gives a little bit of a flinch there.
I know he gave Christmas presents to all those officials, man, because they never called it on him.
You earned that right. You earned that right for the leeway from the officials.
Tatum Bell gets away. But with the second effort, will he get there? He's going to be close. Needed to get it to the 24-yard line.
Interesting call on 3rd and 11.
Just about a half-yard short, so not quite enough. And right now, this Denver Bronco offense unable to have any punch, and whether it's because of the changing quarterback or just one of those days, we don't know. But San Francisco still in this ball game.
Hey, you never know. I mean, Detroit went down to Dallas today and knocked off the Cowboys. So you got a team with everything to gain, and you're playing against a team that really has, nothing to play for. And you don't know what the outcome of those games are going to be.
Lernster boots this one. Brandon Williams slips.
I thought he was going to spike the ball because he was frustrated.
45 on the punt, only 3 on the return. Well, Tuesday, the Tostitos Bowl Bash continues with the FedEx Orange Bowl as the Louisville Cardinals take on the Wake Forest Demon Deacons. Both teams. Starting at the 36. Frank Gore. Short pickup, maybe 3 yards on the play. This is a solemn occasion for the San Francisco 49ers. Last time they were here in Denver was preseason 2005, and offensive lineman Thomas Harrion passed away in the locker room from a massive heart attack right after that game. So when the 49ers arrived here in Denver yesterday, Mike Nolan took the team into the locker room, let them have a couple of moments there, say a couple of prayers, and then hop on the team bus and head to the hotel to get ready for today's game, rather than having today be the first time they stepped in the stadium since that terrible incident. Smith, incomplete in direction of Gore. A lot of players say that really made a difference because now they can come out today and simply think football.
When you come into the league as a young guy, you think you're invincible and you can't, you could do anything, and you sort of have to have that chip on your shoulder. But when a situation like that happens and you have somebody pass away right in front of you, it sort of brings everything into perspective, and you sort of appreciate the game and appreciate the guys you're playing with a lot more.
Yeah, I really credit Mike Nolan for realizing what could have happened with his team and getting them over here yesterday and let them have their time and get some closure with the situation that happened the last time that they were here.
And the Niners take a timeout on 3rd down.
I'll tell you right now, the pressure that Denver is getting on Alex Smith is totally affecting him seeing the field. He's not seeing the field really well right now.
Well, this season, the San Francisco 49ers have been one of the surprise teams in the National Football League. Won 4 games last year under Mike Nolan. Now in his 2nd season, Alex Smith improved. Frank Gore became a Pro Bowler. They beat the Seattle Seahawks twice, but lost to Arizona twice. And last week's loss ended their hopes for the postseason. And really, that has been the difference in this team making it to a playoff berth rather than not, because when you beat the defending division champ, you then own the tiebreaker And had they tied Seattle, they would have won the division.
Yeah, they just didn't match up real well with Arizona right now. Those big wide receivers, one of the things that Mike Nolan would like to address in the draft and free agency, get some big corners to compete with Arizona. But at one point late in the season, you know, the 49ers sat at 5-5, and all of a sudden became a real threat to possibly be a playoff team, and they followed that up with a 1-4 stretch.
They've got 1 first down and 5 possessions today. Gore, make it 2 and more. John Lynch in front of him to slow him down, and that was the only thing that prevented Gore from going all the way. Big catch after the run after the catch for 26 yards by Frank Gore.
Frank Gore does a great job of going and finding his way through all that, you know, those offensive linemen and defensive linemen, and then breaks out into the open field. And, you know, he could have run out of bounds, but he goes, gives a little shuffle and sees John Lynch and wants to see what he's made of. And I'm sure right now that was a nice collision right down there on the field.
He's so excited. You know, the season that he's had. You saw the smile on his face when he had the collision with John Lynch. I mean, he loves that stuff. He was so happy to be able to say, I was out in the open field and I took John Lynch on one-on-one and tried to run him over.
Why not with the year that Gore is having? To the 35, Smith through the hands of Gore and intercepted. Champ Bailey, no one in front of him except Alex Smith. And he gets a block. Touchdown, Denver Broncos. Champ Bailey, the leading interceptor in the National Football League, soaking it in and taking advantage.
And that is not Alex Smith's fault. That is Frank Gore's fault. He should have caught that ball. One of the things that Norv Turner said that Alex Smith has done well this year, he's not had the devastating play, the interception return for a touchdown. Now, you can't put that one on Alex Smith. Frank Gore has got to make that catch.
We talked about it earlier with San Francisco with their defensive backs going and worrying about getting the big hit, not really having their eyes on the ball. And tell you what, there's a guy right there, Champ Bailey, who his eyes are always on the ball, always looking to get that interception.
Jason Elam adds the point after, and the Denver Broncos get their first touchdown of the game. It's a defensive one. Frank Gore couldn't hold on to it, and Champ Bailey makes him pay.
Well, Alex Smith does everything right. He comes out, he's looking downfield, there's nothing there, so he's just going to check it down to Frank Gore. Frank Gore is turning before he makes the catch. He goes through his hands. Champ Bailey's coming up, and he's got a clear sideline. Alex Smith, good hustle. He's almost forcing him back to the inside to give time for Moran Norris, who was hustling downfield, to make the tackle. But Champ Bailey, I tell you what, he's had a heck of a year. You talk about defensive MVP candidates, and it's Jason Taylor, Sean Merriman, and Champ Bailey.
Champ's 10th interception of the season. He had 8 last year, and I don't think you can really get anybody to argue that he is not the best defensive back in football right now.
He's a complete defensive back, too. There's a lot of guys out there who are great cover guys. There's other guys out there like an Antoine Winfield, a good cover guy, but a great run supporter. I think when you talk about a complete corner in the NFL, there's nobody that even comes close to Champ Bailey.
I mean, he tackles well. He comes up with support, like you said, Moose. He has the whole package. It's nice, you know, when you have corners that can go and cover and come up and hit, like this guy right here, Champ Bailey. I mean, he's special.
You know, Bailey got into the Sean Merriman discussion this week. Jason Taylor saying that he thinks that Merriman should not be considered for Defensive Player of the Year because of his suspension. And Champ Bailey saying that he agrees that once you're suspended, you should not be eligible for postseason honors like that. Here's Maurice Hicks. Hicks has had a couple of good returns today. This one from his end zone out to about the 35.
I thought Jason Taylor and Champ Bailey really should have stayed out of that and really not made that comment. I thought that Merriman has done a great job. I think, you know, he got suspended for 4 weeks, and Moose, me and you talked about this, and you know, he paid his penalty. But I think if he's good enough to go and become the MVP, defensive MVP or whatever, that they should definitely go and consider him. He's a great player.
I agree with you. And you know, performance-enhancing drugs are the one thing that you can't allow in the NFL. They've got the policy in there. But I honestly believe when Sean Merriman says he took an over-the-counter supplement that resulted in the positive, he made the mistake by going outside of the products that the NFL recommends. He paid his penance. He did his 4 games. If you want to add that next year that you can't be considered for any postseason honors, fine. But it doesn't exist this year.
Gore spinning, trying to make up for that last bad play, gets it into Denver territory, down to the 40-yard line, and it takes us to the 2-minute warning. Broncos needing to win this game to get into the playoffs, lead 13-0.
Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Get used to more action. Download hundreds of movies with AT&T Home Zone. TV with the power of the internet. Another innovation from the new AT&T. Your world delivered.
Just when you think the moment is right, it may have to wait a while. Relax. You have up to 36 hours with Cialis. Cialis is the only erectile dysfunction tablet clinically proven to work up to 36 hours. 36 hours can be the difference between being interrupted and being ready, when finally the moment is right. Tell your doctor about your medical conditions and all medications, and ask if you're healthy enough for sexual activity. Don't take Cialis if you take nitrates for chest pain, as this may cause an unsafe drop in blood pressure. Don't drink alcohol in excess with Cialis. Side effects may include headache, upset stomach, delayed backache, or muscle ache. To avoid long-term injury, seek immediate medical help if you experience priapism, an erection lasting more than 4 hours. If you have any sudden decrease in vision, stop taking Cialis and call your doctor right away. So relax. Time is on your side. 36-hour Cialis. When the moment is right, will you be ready?
FedEx presents the Air and Ground NFL Players of Week 16. The Eagles' Jeff Garcia completed 15 of 23 passes for 238 yards and a touchdown, leading Philadelphia to their 4th straight win. Houston's Ron Dayne ran for 153 yards and 2 touchdowns on 32 carries, leading the Texans to their first ever win over Indianapolis. Vote for the FedEx Air and Ground NFL Players of the Week at FedExFootball.com.
With the 24-yard run on that last play, Frank Gore, now the single-season rushing yardage leader in franchise history, passing the old mark, which was set by Garrison Hurst back in 1998, so congratulations to Gore.
A great individual accomplishment by Frank Gore, but what I like even more about it, the response to the drop pass that resulted in Champ Bailey's touchdown.
Bouncing right back with a big run, putting the Niners at the 41 of Denver. Smith. Open his battle, and Arnaz Battle stays in bounds and gets the first down. Clock now down to 1:40.
Yeah, he might have wanted to get out of bounds on that one right there and save some time.
San Francisco working with 2 timeouts right now, and just about a minute and a half to go. Now they got a bad spot on that one. They back it up just inside that first down marker, so it's 2nd and short. Smith looking deep, going up, can't catch it is Taylor Jacobs, covered nicely by Darren Williams.
When you have a guy on the outside that you have trust with as a quarterback and a wide receiver, you can make these throws. Taylor Jacobs is going to go up and get the ball, or he's going to prevent Darren Williams from making the interception. That's the next step with this offense. They've got to get guys on the outside that Alex Smith has the confidence in, that he can make a throw and it's not going to result in a negative play.
So they took a shot on 2nd and short. 3rd and less than a yard now. Gore back in the eye, and movement there on the right side of the offensive line. Penalty markers come out.
False start offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, still 3rd down.
It's on Adam Snyder.
That's just a huge miscue by Adam Snyder, because you're 3rd and short, now you're 3rd and 6. San Francisco, this entire first half, it just continued to shoot themselves in the foot offensively.
Well, they've had their opportunities. Defense doing everything that it can to keep them in the ball game, including a couple of goal line stands on back-to-back possessions for the 49er offense, unable to take advantage of it. Smith. Eric Johnson won't even get close. Darren Williams wraps him up as soon as he caught that football. And right now the Niners trying to decide whether or not to kick it or go for it. Have you noticed it's quieter up here?
A little bit more room in here too.
Tony Siragusa heading down to the field where he will speak with both coaches during halftime as the Niners take a timeout. And I think the big question for the Broncos is, will we see Jay Cutler anymore in this ball game? Cutler knocked out. They haven't officially called it a concussion, but they do say it's a head injury, and he has been checked out and is listed as probable. And that big interception by Champ Bailey probably helping keep Cutler on the sideline because it gave them a little more breathing room.
It really did, because before that it's a one-possession game. The goal line stands by San Francisco's defense that you mentioned, you know, kept it a 6-point game, and then Champ Bailey makes the huge play on the tip pass by Frank Gore. That makes things makes that decision a little bit easier for Mike Shanahan.
What a season Champ Bailey has had. I mean, he has really been the guy that's every team focuses on when they come in to play Denver.
When John Lynch says it's the best defensive player he's ever been on the field with, that's a pretty bold statement. He was with Derek Brooks, Warren Sapp. I mean, that's a pretty impressive statement from John Lynch.
Niners going for it on 4th down. They need the 31. Smith flushed out, has room to run, and gets the first down. Maybe. See where they spot this ball. He went just enough yardage to get it. So good job there by Smith picking up the first down and keeping the drive alive with 57 seconds and a timeout left.
Well, that's one of the things that Norv Turner was impressed with when he came to San Francisco, was the mobility of Alex Smith. And what Norv does with a young quarterback, he likes to play to his strengths. So he wants to get Alex Smith out of the pocket, out on the edge with some bootlegs, with some rollout type passes. He doesn't want him to be strictly in the pocket all the time.
Vernon Davis in motion. A handoff to Gore. Well, he likes contact, doesn't he? This time running right into Hamza Abdullah and dishing it out as well as taking it.
He's not going to shy away from contact. I mean, he's a compact, stout runner. And you listen to this right at the end. Helmet to helmet.
Niners go without a huddle. Smith, that one a bad throw. Right into the ground, intended for Brian Gilmore. But it stops the clock with 31 seconds remaining, which means we're 31 seconds on the clock away from the Visa halftime report. Joe Buck, Terry, Howie, and Jimmy with all the scores and highlights from around the league. They'll definitely get you set on the playoff picture, and our Fox Sports ticker will keep you updated with up-to-the-second stats only on the Visa halftime report. Down for the Niners. Gore following his blockers and will be stopped at about the 13-yard line. Gore picks up the first down. Clock now down to 20 seconds. 19 officially, and the Niners will use their final timeout.
I never understand that. I never understand why you don't know to call a timeout immediately after the play. They just let 5 seconds run off that clock. Now that 5 seconds translates almost into a full opportunity to get a ball into the end zone from the 13-yard line. So you add that back to 24, you know, you really got 3, maybe 4 shots into the end zone if you conserve enough time. So I just never understand why it's not made clear in the huddle. All right, Frank, we're going to run the ball in this situation. When you get tackled, pop up and get a timeout signal. You're kind of up, walking back, you know, what do we want to do? What do we want to do in this situation? And 5 seconds runs off.
Now, I'm going to throw this out here since you are the expert. Do you think anything has to do with the fact it's a 13-0 game? You've got a young team that, you know, maybe you don't want to run too many plays here before halftime because it gives you a chance to make a mistake and feel bad about yourself going into the locker room.
No. They've got some guys out there. They got some guys who can make some plays.
Not everybody's winning 3 Super Bowls in 4 years, you know. Best drive of the day for the 49ers. On the 12-yard line, no timeouts.
Davis on the backside all by himself.
And penalty markers before the snap.
False start, offense number 85. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
And that's on Vernon Davis.
Yeah, they put the 2 receivers to the other side and put Vernon Davis just as a solo receiver to that side, and they had a corner route called for him, so he knows he's got an opportunity for a shot to the end zone, and he's a little bit excited and gets a little bit of a flinch before that ball is snapped. Just a little bit.
Like I said, maybe you don't want to run too many plays before halftime.
13-7 is better than 13-3. These guys right now offensively need as many opportunities as they can have because they just keep giving them away.
2 tight ends set. Smith pulls it down. Lost the football. And the Broncos had a golden opportunity. Kennard Lang, rather than falling on it, tried to pick it up. And instead of getting the turnover, 49ers hold on.
All right, maybe they should just let the clock run.
Yeah, you got too many opportunities.
I'm envisioning Kennard Lang going 65 yards the other way with this fumble.
So was Kennard.
Oh, goodness.
If he just falls on it.
Oh, they're listening. They're sending the field goal team out there. Hey,
on second down.
No, let's just kick this thing and get out of here.
It's second down. They're kicking a 46-yard field goal attempt. Joe Nedney. Knuckleball, but he gets through. And so the 49ers get on the scoreboard. Nedney's 46-yard kick makes it a 10-point ball game with 4 ticks remaining here in the first half.
How did you know that was all going to fall out that way?
You know, sometimes you just feel it. And sometimes you just make stuff up as you go along.
And it falls into place.
And it falls into place
seamlessly.
I'd rather be lucky than good. That was a perfect example of that. Well, Mike Shanahan definitely, you know, saying to Kennard Lang on that play, just fall on the ball. Just fall on it.
Yeah, secure it first, and then, but you're right on the sideline, and hey, he's a defensive end. I mean, he has to know that there's not a lot of people out that way. I got a shot for 6 points right here, you know.
And you don't get many shots.
You don't get many of those. But it cost him 3. Cost him 3.
At least. Because at that point, there was about 14 seconds or so. Maybe you take a shot and got a couple timeouts.
No, don't go back on your philosophy.
Well, no, the Broncos can do that. It's okay for the Broncos to be aggressive on offense. Well, remember the Denver Broncos needing to win this game in order to make it to the playoffs. Champ Bailey doing his part to make sure that happens.
Well, you know, you got to lean on your playmakers in these types of situations, and that's what Champ Bailey has been for this Broncos defense all season long. And after their offense stalled and 2 goal-to-go situations, it's Champ Bailey and the defense that actually gets the touchdown.
Nedney, line drive kick. Quincy Morgan take a knee in the end zone. So Jake Plummer will come out with 3 seconds left, and you would guess that with Jay Cutler still on the sideline, that the Broncos will just take a knee and go into the locker room at halftime.
Well, he had the jacket off. He still got his helmet in his hand, so there's a possibility. You know, if it's a concussion where, you know, there's really no chance, those trainers will take that helmet away from you and hide it somewhere on the sideline so you can't sneak back out on the field.
And Plummer lined up to do just that, take a knee, and the Broncos had a couple of goal line opportunities. The 49ers prevented them from getting touchdowns, but the Bronco defense scored the only touchdown of the game. Champ Bailey taking it 70 yards after an interception, and the Broncos in a game they must win in order to make the AFC playoffs, lead it 13-0 here at halftime. The Visa halftime report coming up next. Over the Mile High City right now, and Bronco fans looking for a little extra high if they can win this ball game. Broncos leading 13-3 right now at halftime over San Francisco. Kurt Menefee, Tony Siragusa, and Daryl Johnston. Of course, if the Broncos win this game, they are in the playoffs. But right now, Tony, they've had to go most of the second quarter without their starting quarterback, Jay Cutler.
Yeah, and I happened to go downstairs and find out what his situation is, and they said they need to talk to the trainers. But there is a possibility we could see him here in the second half. You know, I thought it was pretty funny that they only have 2 quarterbacks on the roster, and you know, now their second guy's in, and their third guy is Smith.
Rod Smith, the wide receiver.
Yeah.
Well, in the first half, it looked like the Broncos were going to be able to do things offensively. They moved the ball, got inside the 5-yard line twice, but twice the San Francisco defense was able to stop them, thusly keeping themselves in this game. And really, the only touchdown so far has been an interception return by Champ Bailey for a score.
Yeah, the San Francisco offense has not been able to get on track, and you have to credit a little bit of that to the Denver defense, because right now they're taking Frank Gore out of the game, but there's really not a lot of opportunities for Alex Smith down the field in the passing game. So it's maybe just good defense as opposed to poor offense.
Here's a look at our fantasy stats. Keep in mind, for the latest in fantasy news, be sure to log on to foxsports.com.
Frank Gore had that one big run on that last drive, but other than that, he's been kept in check pretty good. And we'll have to see if they can get. I'd start leaning on Frank Gore a little bit here in this second half.
Gore, 11 carries, 66 yards in the first half, and during that first half, he also took over the franchise's all-time single-season rushing record. Maurice Hicks will try and get him in good position to start the third quarter. Out to the 25-yard line.
To show you a little bit of the defensive highlights from that first half. Jay Cutler was under pressure the entire first half. Early on, it was the secondary coming clean off the edges. But you had some big hits by the linebackers inside, and then Anthony Adams got to Jay Cutler. He hasn't been back in the game from that point, and it's not just been the 49ers defense getting pressure, but also the Broncos. Some good plays in the end zone, good pursuit, hard to run outside against this Denver defense, and Champ Bailey's interception, a defensive play, our only touchdown so far.
Here's Frank Gore, 66 yards in the first half, and starts off with a 5-yard run to begin the second. Well, defense was a story in the first half. John Lynch, you talk about the fountain of youth. He may put it in a bottle and start selling it the way he's playing right now.
Well, he's been off the edges, getting pressure, but it's his physical style of play. You know, we're still waiting on one of those big hits. He had a couple last week against Cincinnati. We're still waiting for that type of play, because he says he looks to try and get one during the course of the game. He likes to get it early. He went the first half without one. We'll see if he can get one here in the second half.
But he did have 5 tackles in that first half. Here's Gore. And there's John Lynch. Tackle number 6. Stops him at the 31.
You know, John Lynch making those big plays. I think it's not really the plays that are a factor. It's when he gets up and he starts celebrating with his teammates and they start smacking him in the head. That's when your neck really hurts, huh, Darryl?
Well, it's infectious. When he has one of those big hits, you know, for a defensive group, I mean, all of a sudden everybody gets pumped up, and you know, it's been something he's tried to do throughout his career. He loves to get one of those early in a game.
We talked about the depth of the back right here. This has got to be a run situation. He's 7 yards deep right there, Gore.
3rd and 3. They fake it to him. Wide open is Arnaz Battle, and Battle will pick up the first down.
That's a nice job of going and keeping your depth, even though you're going to have the play action and coming right off that with a pass play. It's a tendency that every offense has with their running back. It's the depth of the running back to determine whether it's going to be run and pass. The only thing is the screen when he's up short, and obviously the play action like we saw just there.
Yeah, one of the things that Frank's going to learn is the attention to detail. He's going to have to realize that when he's a single back, he can't be adjusting his depth from the line of scrimmage, because it is a key for a defensive group.
First down for the Niners. Gore. Gore brought down by Nate Webster right on the 40-yard line. Well, next Sunday right here on Fox, it's the rematch of the Giants and Eagles Part 3 wild card coverage. Begins at 4 o'clock Eastern next Sunday. The NFC playoffs only on Fox. And of course, the Giants got in with last night's win over the Washington Redskins. The Philadelphia Eagles playing right now, but they are champions of the NFC East. And talk about comebacks. They are the comeback team of the season.
Hey, Jimmy Johnson's not the only guy. I had him counted out too when Donovan McNabb went down.
So did half of Philadelphia. Smith being pressured and forced to get rid of that football before he really wanted to. Mike Myers on the coverage, or really putting the pressure on Smith, we should say.
Mike Myers had some closing speed there too. Usually those defensive linemen, they you can see him right here. They don't really have the speed, but he's coming out, man. He's chasing him down. It's nice always to get that little bit of hit at the end. You know, it's no sense in running that far and not really just getting a little something.
Little oomph. Just something to remind you about.
A little something.
Needing the 46. And Smith calls a timeout. Play clock was winding down. And so the 49ers use their first time out of the second half with their opening possession of the third quarter. Gore standing on the sideline with his jacket on here on third down. He was out on that second down play. We'll see if this is just getting repetitions for Michael Robinson or something more. And that's Robinson making the catch. And the former quarterback picks up the first down with a good second effort and picks up 7 yards.
And the jacket is off, and Frank Gore is back on the field.
He's Batman.
Yeah.
He's hiding.
Well, Gore was telling us this is the coldest game he's ever played in his life. Never played in a game below 40 degrees. Of course, having grown up in Florida and playing at the University of Miami, you don't get many chances to.
That's why Florida gets all them Florida guys down there. They don't want to leave that heat.
First down at the 47. Gore. Right out to the midfield stripe. Another former Miami player, DJ Williams, in there on the tackle. Former teammates, in fact, down with the Hurricanes.
Be interesting to see how he responds next season. You know, I think there was a lot of questions about Frank Gore this year. 2 ACL repairs in college. He actually had his shoulders worked on in the offseason last year, and he's real excited to get into the offseason this year healthy and able to go through the entire strength and conditioning program and be able to get on the field next year and try to exceed what he did this year, which is going to be a tall order for him. He's had a great year.
1,600 yards on the season. And this is the tight end, Vernon Davis. Davis with a pickup of 8, and he took a big pop right there at the end. Nate Webster laying it on him, and Davis a little slow to get up.
5, 6. There's another one.
He's back down again.
Stay down.
And they will bring out the training staff to try and help Davis, who remembered missed really the midpoint of the season, 6 straight weeks after breaking his leg. And now, in the final game of the season, a little shaken up after this hit from Webster. Up back, Marin Norris, the fullback. And what do those fullbacks do, DJ? They get first downs.
He's got to sneak him in there every once in a while and keep that defense honest. Go back to the play where Vernon Davis got hit. The pursuit from the inside, 58. Nate Webster right here, you see right in the back of the helmet, soft spot of the head. You can take him on straight on, but when you get hit near the temple or in the back of the helmet, you know, a lot of times that bell keeps ringing when you get to the sideline.
Can't flex their muscles and support everything. That's the blind side.
Niners with their best sustained drive of the day. Inside the 40 on first down. Smith flushed out again, running room, and he falls forward for a gain of 5. Well, one aspect of Alex Smith's game that the 49ers feel they can really add to as he grows as a quarterback is his mobility and his ability to take off from the pocket.
Oh, it was interesting talking to Norv about it because, you know, when Norv was in Dallas, when I was there and you had Troy Aikman, who was a pure pocket passer, you didn't get him out on the edge. You didn't do things like that. His strength was being in the pocket, but Norv really feels as the game has evolved since that time and the defenders are so athletic now, it's such a huge plus to have a quarterback with the ability to move the pocket.
Here's Frank Gore. Picks up a couple on the play.
Them offense coordinators love gaining a second or 2 seconds in a play. Gives a chance for those receivers downfield to go and make a cut or maybe get into a situation where they're going to be wide open.
Well, you know what you're going against as a defense, too. And if you've got a guy who's going to be at the same spot in the pocket throwing the ball, you can really dial up some good blitzes. But now all of a sudden you get a guy like Alex Smith and North Turner. He's not going to have him dropping back at 7 yards all the time. He's going to move that pocket so you can't get a good read on where that launch point is to design your blitzes.
Niners 3 for 3 on third downs on this drive. Looking for the 30. They get it. The fullback and Norris down the sideline and into the end zone. Touchdown, Morin Norris.
I'm telling you, fullbacks this year have just been going crazy, Moose.
Yeah, go get him. They'll spike and give the post, but don't forget the ball.
You better hold on to that one. Norris, not many opportunities this year, taking advantage of this one.
Great job by Alex Smith. He's got pressure right in his face. The fullback's going to release out into the right flat. He gets the ball out. A little bit of a stumble by Nate Webster right there, so he's a step late getting there. Can't get a hit on him. The big man in for 6.
Norris had touched the ball 4 times all year long, all on receptions, and then he does it twice on this drive, including the 32-yard touchdown. Joe Nedney with the extra point, and the Niners smiles all over the place on the sideline as Morin Norris, with their longest play of the day, makes it a 3-point game. Quincy Morgan out to about the 28-yard line, and here's Cutler ready for action with his team holding on.
Finger a little bit better that they're putting in front of him.
Back on the field to hand off for now as Tatum Bell takes it a couple of yards.
You know, we talked about it in the open about, you know, getting film, and Jimmy Johnson also mentioned it in the pregame show with Tony Romo in Dallas, and getting film on somebody and having something to go and evaluate the player and find out where the weaknesses are. And we saw from the 49ers the backside of Jay Cutler, then bringing the pressure with the corner off the backside. They got 2 big hits on it. I would expect them to go back to that. That's something that, you know, you have success with, you stick with it.
Especially if you think he's got a concussion right now.
Well, we'll see. Here's Cutler going deep, looking for Javon Walker. And Walker there being covered by Walt Harris, and pushing and shoving, but no flags.
They're not happy here in Denver.
That's the second time we've seen Harris matched up against Walker. Contact, no flags on the play. The first time Harris picked it off, this time it's an incompletion.
I don't know, Walt Harris, you know, he's kind of gone unnoticed in the NFL this year. He's had a heck of a season, and
he does a nice job of selling out.
Yeah, he's saying, no, those weren't my arms on Javon Walker right there at the end of that play. Mine were up here in the air.
It's all about positioning yourself between the person you're defending and the official, so you can't really see.
You can't call what you can't see.
That's right.
Well, Cutler and Plummer have combined for just 4 completions so far in this ball game. Cutler will need one to the 39 to keep this one going as a flag on the play. He gets it. Brandon Marshall, and the rookie got enough yardage for the first down on the 20-yard play, but we'll see what the yellow markers are for.
Holding, offense, number 82. 10-yard penalty. Repeat, third down.
And so it comes back. The tight end, Steven Alexander, called for the hold. The Broncos look like a team ready for the playoffs to you guys?
No. No, they don't. And that has been their problem all season long. They have been an inconsistent team. When the offense has been playing well, the defense hasn't been playing well. As you pointed out, Kurt, the defense started out the season very strong. The offense was struggling a little bit. One of the reasons that Mike Shanahan wanted Kansas City to win and put them in a must-win situation, he wanted this team to build off of their previous 2 victories to have that momentum going into the playoffs. They haven't come out and taken the field this afternoon with the sense of urgency that I think Mike Shanahan would have liked to have seen.
Cutler on 3rd and long, being pressured. And it's intercepted. No one in front this time. Wow. And it's easy pickings for Walt Harris.
We just talked about it. It's the inconsistency. And the thing that I haven't been impressed with is the offensive line. And we saw right there. I mean, getting a lot of pressure, and we saw some flags, and just haven't been consistent.
He's not ready to be back on the field right now. We saw him in the first half when they did the test. If you sit a guy down because he's failing some tests on the sideline with a possible concussion, then you don't put him back in the field. He underthrew Javon Walker. I mean, severely underthrew Javon Walker on his first pass attempt right there. I mean, Walt Harris is sitting underneath Steven Alexander on that play, hoping that Jay Cutler throws that ball.
And Harris with his second pick of the day, 8th of the year, and it puts the 49ers in front. Nedney with a point after. And the San Francisco 49ers lead at 17-13 in a game that Denver must win in order to make the playoffs. Down the 17th unanswered point for this 49er team. They were down 13-0, but right before the half got a field goal from Nedney, and now 2 touchdowns to start this third quarter.
I'm really surprised that the Broncos have gotten away from the run game. You know, you got Tatum Bell and Mike Bell. I mean, back there, they're getting something done. They scored on that one play up the middle and totally went away from it.
Quincy Morgan. Boom, along the sideline. And he steps out of bounds right at midfield, but maybe that's what the Broncos needed to get him going. Big return by Morgan. Jay Cutler retakes the field, and the Broncos searching for a way to retake the lead.
Well, if I'm Mike Shanahan on that last drive, I'm going to find a way to get the running game back into this, because Quincy Morgan just gave them great field position. He just gave them a short field to work with. The whole right side, he gives a little wiggle to the middle, and everybody gets out of position. Joe Nedney as the kicker, number 6 there. I don't know. He's got to keep the return man square. He got way too far to the left side of the field.
Right on the 50-yard line. Cutler. Rod Smith, and Smith with a catch of 15 yards on the play to the 35.
He's such a good route runner. I mean, he gets his separation. He's a veteran wide receiver. He doesn't have the speed that he had early in his career. I'm sure a lot of the separation at that point was just flat out speed. Now, the precision that he runs his routes with is where he gets his separation. He really sold Shante Spencer that he was going deep.
Smith has had 9 straight years of 70 catches or more. Won't get it this year, as he's about 20 away, but still a big-time contributor to this Bronco offense. Off the play fake. That's the tight end, Scheffler, and Scheffler gets inside the 20. Give him 16.
If something works, stick with it. Look like back-to-back, the same play, same area. He must be very comfortable in throwing that little out pattern.
Well, I guess I was wrong on the last drive. I thought that Jay Cutler was still feeling the effects of that hit he took in the first half. I guess they were just two bad throws. One bad throw, one bad decision, because the first 2 plays of this drive, he's looked great.
Got him to the 19. Flags on the play.
False start offense, number 26. 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
It's been time after time we've seen the Broncos get going too early, and that's the mascot, Thunder. You know what? He's not had a whole lot of action today.
No, they actually face him towards the crowd because they don't want him to take off onto the field, because he's, you know, he does a lot of, you know, they even had me there earlier making some area for him there. A lot of ice and snow. And I thought it was for my area. You know, I thought I was going to be down on the field back in that little area in the end zone. But
how about after the game? You're going to have to go down and shovel more than the ice and snow?
Yeah,
here's Cutler going for the end zone. Overthrows Scheffler, incomplete. Tony, when you're shuffling that snow, only shuffle the white snow.
Yeah.
Just keep that in mind.
There's a lot of different colors down there. You know what was what. Still like to see these guys go back to the run game here a little bit.
Well, you get the big kickoff return, and then you hit the 2 pass plays. But then, you know, I don't think people understand those pre-snap penalties that put you in the 1st and 15s. I mean, they're such momentum killers. I mean, everything is going positive for the Broncos. Quincy Morgan gives you the big kick return. You hit Rod Smith on a good pass play. Then you hit Tony Scheffler. All of a sudden, you just get that little 5-yard penalty. Doesn't seem like much, but it just takes you out of your rhythm.
Shuts that momentum right down.
Well, New Year's Eve begins later on tonight. Be sure to ring it in Fox style with Fox's New Year's Eve special live from Times Square. Special performances by Daughtry and Tony Braxton. That's later tonight, 11 o'clock, right here, only on Fox.
Where's Chris Daughtry been? He was my odds-on favorite to win American Idol last year. The guy's disappeared.
Is that what it is?
Yeah. That guy was awesome.
Taylor Hicks won, though.
Yeah, well.
I thought you'd like him because he's got the graying hair like you, and maybe a little sibling thing going on there, you know?
I'm not a member of the Soul Patrol right now. I was a Chris Daughtry guy.
You look a little bit like Taylor Hicks.
I don't look anything like Taylor Hicks.
I don't know. We got to get a shot.
Anybody that says I look like Taylor Hicks, I'm going to go get that blue hair. There's my hair. If anybody,
you're going to change it.
The one thing the first time somebody comes up to me and asks me for an autograph, Mr. Hicks, I'm buying that orange and blue hair.
Go after the timeout by the Broncos. Second down for Cutler. Underneath, pass caught, Smith. And Smith pushed out of bounds by Walt Harris, but he got 10 yards.
Cutler's very comfortable back there, and you know, something that I thought they were going to do is bring more pressure, you know, San Francisco, but no pressure up front. They're rushing 4 guys there, and he's just sitting back there throwing. Has a big lane to throw out of right there too. When you're giving a quarterback that much area to throw out, you don't get in his face. I mean, it's just like him in practice, you know, throwing 7-on-7 with the receivers. It's wide open.
You see that red zone stat. The only time they didn't score was a kneel down against the Oakland Raiders. So the Broncos do get points usually in this position. Good catch made right at the 5-yard line. Once again, Smith.
We talked about San Francisco not having that go-to guy on the outside, the big playmaker on the outside. And you can see what Rod Smith means to this offense because he is that guy for Denver. I mean, Jay Cutler, when he's going to get into a critical situation, he's going to look for Rod Smith. He's been the key guy on this drive. When Jay Cutler really struggled on the previous drive, he's come back here and gone to his guy to try and get this offense back on track.
Timeout taken again by the Broncos as the play clock was winding down. Well, Jay Cutler, 4 completions on this drive. He and Plummer had combined for 4 completions in the ball game before this. Well, we welcome those of you who had been watching the San Diego Chargers and Arizona Cardinals. The Denver Broncos in a must-win situation hosting San Francisco. If the Broncos win this game, they are in the AFC playoffs. And those of you watching Atlanta and Philadelphia, same story. The circumstances don't change. It's still a must-win situation for the Broncos. And Denver led this game 13-0 at one point. Jay Cutler left with a head injury. They didn't call it a concussion. Didn't finish the first half, but he has come back here in the second half. Did throw an interception, which was returned by Walt Harris for a touchdown. That gave San Francisco its first lead, but right now, Cutler and the Broncos at the 5-yard line, 1st and goal.
And this is the area of the field that they've struggled on earlier in the game.
They continue to struggle as Mike Bell runs right into the pile. Well, for those of you just joining us, this game started off in a good fashion for the Bronco defense. Champ Bailey, 10th interception, returned it 70 yards for a score. It was 13-3 Denver at halftime, but Morin Norris and the 49ers came up on the opening possession of the second half, took it into the end zone, and then the Broncos throw an interception as Walt Harris gets his second pick of the game, takes it 28 yards in for the score, and the San Francisco 49ers have their first lead of the afternoon. Jay Cutler and company trying to turn that around.
And they've had 2 goal line stands already this afternoon to force field goals by the Broncos.
Another sack, and the ball came out. Mark Roman got in there and brought down Cutler, and we'll see who recovered it.
That's the 3rd time with that pressure on the backside. And, you know, we talked about it earlier. If it works, stick with it.
Well, this time they at least brought it from the blind side. He's going to be coming in this way. We've seen it all day long. These guys have been coming in off the edge, whether it's Keith Lewis or Mark Roman. They've been coming free off the edge. This time, the Broncos turn their protection to the right side, and there's just nobody there. He's got a free shot to the blind side of Jay Cutler.
Broncos do recover it, but that's a 3rd sack of the afternoon for San Francisco. And you mentioned twice inside the 5-yard line earlier, the 49er defense prevented touchdowns, and right now they forced the Broncos into calling their 3rd timeout on this drive.
You know, we saw it earlier, the pressure from the backside on Cutler. You know, San Francisco just does a nice job. There's pressure right up the middle. That's where he gets hurt. A little head injury right there, but comes back. The doctors go and check him, make sure his pupils are dilating right. He's almost surprised. I mean, we talked about earlier in the first half about will he come back, and you obviously, Moose, said, you know, you didn't think so, and then, you know, we see Jake Plummer go out there and really doesn't get anything going, and they decide, you know, after half to come back to Cutler, and he put a nice drive together there in that last one.
Well, he really has. I mean, we had the big kickoff by Quincy Morgan to get him out to midfield, and then, you know, 2 passes, boom, boom, one to Rod Smith, one to Tony Scheffler. They're right down to the 20-yard line. They end up getting down inside, down to the 5. Rod Smith has been his key guy on this drive, but whatever the reason this afternoon, early on, it was the running game. They got down inside the 5. They were just completely stuffed trying to run the football in, and now they elect to go ahead and try and make a touchdown, you know, throwing the ball, and they turn a guy loose. Now negative play.
They've called 3 timeouts in 2.5 minutes on this drive. Might that be an after effect of the head injury that he's a little confused right now?
I don't think he's all there. I really don't. I mean, I thought the opening drive when he threw the pick was an indication, but he's come out and thrown the ball well on this drive. But he can't be 100%.
3rd and goal. Walker. Javon Walker can't get around the corner. Good tackle by Mark Roman, preventing the touchdown. And for the 3rd time today, the Broncos have 1st and goal at the 5 or closer and don't get in the end zone.
The only big question mark I have is if he's a little banged up, you would think that they would go with the run. And in this whole drive, they stuck with the pass over and over. I don't know how many runs there were, but, you know, they're sticking with the pass. They're putting the ball in his hands to win the game.
Jason Elam already made 2 today, the most accurate kicker in the league this season. Came in at 93% and done nothing to hurt that, as he's 3 for 3 on the afternoon with that 22-yarder. It's now a 1-point ball game. Well, keep in mind the Broncos need to win in order to get into the AFC playoffs.
That's amazing to see Tiki last night against the Washington Redskins. Literally just pick that team up and carry it on his shoulders into the playoffs.
Talk about missed tackles. I mean, you couldn't take Tiki down with an arm tackle yesterday. If I don't care who you are, you could be Spider-Man and wrap up with a web. I mean, he was just breaking arm tackles and tackles left and right. What a great day he had.
What opportunity did the Giants have in a game like that because it's a division opponent, more so than just barely getting in as a wild card?
Well, you know each other quite a bit, but there's been a lot of changes. I mean, the Giants have been hit hard with the injury bug. You've got Garcia, but, you know, the New York Giants, the last time they played Philadelphia, Garcia was the starting quarterback. So, you know, Philadelphia's just going to do what they do. The interesting thing is, how do they match up against that running game of the New York Giants? Because, you know, I think that since Donovan has gone out of the lineup, they've improved not only by Jeff Garcia playing the quarterback position and distributing the ball around, but their running game and their run defense has improved also.
Here's Maurice Hicks. Oh, he was upended. Nate Jackson with a big hit. We got another big break coming our way, courtesy of Joe Buck.
All right, Kurt, thank you. The Baltimore Ravens trying to solidify their spot as a number 2 seed in the AFC playoff picture. Chris McAllister to the 31 yards, 5th career interception, return for a touchdown, 16-7. Baltimore on top. Let's go back to Kurt, DJ, and the Goose.
All right, and the Ravens, if they win that game, San Diego was winning rather easily against Arizona. The Ravens would be the number 2 seeds in the AFC. The San Diego Chargers, number 1. Second drive of the second half for this 49er offense. And Frank Gore with nowhere to run, maybe 2 yards on the play. Ian Gold on the stop. And look at this. Today, the defense has definitely done their part. Each team with an interception return for a touchdown. Champ Bailey for the Broncos, Walt Harris for the Niners.
Well, you expect that type of play from the Denver defense, but the San Francisco defense at times this season, you know, a little bit susceptible to big plays. You didn't expect them to have the type of performance they've had this afternoon.
Here's Smith. The end around. Arnaz Battle. Broncos not fooled at all. Battle picks up a couple of yards, and that's it. Demetrin Field in there on the stop.
And you know why they weren't fooled? Because Champ Bailey. We talked about him being a complete player and having the interception return for a touchdown. But Champ Bailey saw that reverse and got outside and forced Arnaz Battle back to the inside. Watch him. He chases him all the way across the field and actually beats him to the point. It's Champ Bailey that forces him back inside to the pursuit.
So Larry Allen also pulling on that play. Really didn't fool anybody there. He's really not built for pulling, almost.
No, you really can't hide number 71 when he's out there running.
Third down for the 49ers. They need the 41-yard line. And if you're looking for that yellow stripe that you normally see, it's not there. Even though it looks like the 49ers may have gotten enough. Taylor Jacobs going to be right at the spot they need, but that yellow first down marker that we normally have for you is not here today because of the weather problems that we've had here in Denver. No problems for either one of these teams. 17-16 the score. The Broncos hoping it's no problem to get in the playoffs. They've got to come back and win it. Since the late 70s. And Red Miller, then Dan Reeves, and now Mike Shanahan in his 12th year. It's hard to believe this franchise has never been to the playoffs 4 consecutive years. If they win today, it will be the 4th straight year they're getting to the playoffs, but they're going to have to stop the 49ers and come back in order to do it. San Francisco with a first down at their own 42-yard line. Frank Gore with a hole. And Gore with a nice 7-yard pickup on first down. Time for us to pick up another game break. Here's Joe Buck.
Well, Kurt, we took away some of your audience that were watching this game, and Matt Schaub has just thrown a 9-yard touchdown throw to Algie Crumpler. Extra point, 17-17 game, Atlanta-Philly. I think any scouts are paying attention to the way Matt Schaub is throwing the ball. Kurt, DJ, Goose.
Well, you know, maybe some of those scouts should be in the Atlanta front office, some people think. 49ers at the 49. Pump fake by Smith. Wide open. Down the right side is Arnaz Battle, and he fights his way down to the 16. Good play by this 49er offense. 36 yards on the reception.
Well, you talked about the pump fake. It was actually a double move. It was a slant and go on the left side. And when he focused to the left side, he moved the safety over to that side of the field, and then he was able to get back to Arnaz Battle in the middle of the field because it ended up being wide open. Look how open he is right there. That's because the pump fake with the double move on the other side had moved the safety all the way to the offensive left.
First down at the 16. Frank Gore. Ian Gold there to meet him. Gore falls forward for 2. And earlier in the game, Frank Gore set the single-season rushing mark for the 49ers. He's now got the single-season total yardage mark from scrimmage.
You know, talking to Frank Gore yesterday, I was amazed to see how he likes to go and watch other players, especially teams he's going against. And he said, you know, he saw LaDainian Tomlinson on film, and he was trying to emulate him and see what he does and how he's so good, and he really couldn't spot it. I sort of told him, I said, you know, sometimes guys just have this special talent that you really can't go and learn. But it was amazing to see this guy wanting to get better week in and week out. Looking forward to the offseason and getting better for next year.
Gore again. Follows his fullback, Norris. You know, Frank Gore told us he's going to take 1 week off, and then it's back to training. 1 week.
I don't believe that.
We left our meeting last night, and I'm walking out the door, and there's Moran Norris and Frank Gore walking down the hall. So I stop and talk to him, and we're talking about that, and then Norv Turner walked up and said the same thing. And I looked at him, I said, what are you, nuts? I said, 5 weeks, 6 weeks. I said, you don't understand how much pounding your body has taken. You're going to be over 300 carries for this season at the end of the game tomorrow. You need more than a week to let your body heal fully.
Niners can pick up a first down at the 6. Smith. Scrambling. You can't find anybody open in the direction of Taylor Jacobs. Ebenezer Ekubon chasing him and forcing him to get rid of it.
I think, you know, we look at Lynch, John Lynch in this game. We talked about how he's been around for so many years and played at the level that he has. And it's because, you know, and Darryl, you realize it also, you have to be able to turn it off. You know, after the season, you need to decompress, you need to recharge your batteries, you need to get away from football a little bit, or else it starts getting stale. You know, you need to go and see new things and try new things, but you need to get away from it. That's just as important as being around it and concentrating on doing the things you need to do.
29-yard attempt for Nendy. And that's a big one. It makes it a 4-point lead, and so the Broncos have to get a touchdown in order to win this game and get into the playoffs.
The Chippendales auditions here today, Kurt?
Yeah.
You didn't get your number pulled for that one yet?
Happening right before midnight.
You're after the game.
Yeah,
your audition is after the game.
Right after everybody leaves and I'm on a flight. Quincy Morgan in his end zone, and they'll bring it out. Across the 20, and Morgan stopped at the 28-yard line. The 49ers trying to hold on and pull off the upset and make Moose and Goose's fans happy in many ways.
Turn left. Turn clockwise. Over. Turn under. Turn left at intersection. Destination ahead.
Navigate your holidays. From now until January 2nd, purchase or lease any specially equipped Cadillac.
Final game of the regular season, a game in which the Broncos must win in order to make the playoffs. Cutler, and that was behind an open Rod Smith. Let's check in with Joe Buck for another game break.
All right, Kurt, some of your audience left this game. That was our decision, not theirs. We know it's a battle of the backup quarterbacks. First, Matt Schaub. Now, A.J. Feely. 89 yards to Hank Baskett, a 24-17 Philadelphia lead. Let's go back to Denver. Kurt, Darrow, and Tony.
All right, thanks a lot, Joe. And the Philadelphia Eagles already in the playoffs as champions of the NFC East. They will host the New York Giants in a wild card matchup next Sunday right here on Fox. Tatum Bell out of the backfield takes the pass. A couple of moves later, he's out to the 43-yard line. 16 yards on the play.
You think Andy Reid has called up Brad Childress of Minnesota and thanked him for that Hank Baskett edition? That was a pretty nice swap, Hank Baskett for Billy McMullen.
You know, it's amazing. I was at the Eagles training camp in Lehigh, Pennsylvania, and they kept talking, Hank Baskett, man, we got this guy, Hank. And I'm like, Hank Baskett, he's a free agent. Why are you celebrating him? But it's been a big deal. He has been a big acquisition for them. And here's Tatum Bell on that last play. No penalty marker down, and Bale wanted a face mask. Didn't get it.
He didn't really have a hold of it. He just kind of had his arm there on the helmet, not necessarily the face mask.
That was a hug. That wasn't a face mask.
And now the 49ers are putting out the challenge flag. Well, the only thing they could be challenging here would be the spot of the football. Unless the ball came out somehow along the way. We'll take a look. Obviously, Mike Nolan and his coaches up in the booth thought they saw something on the replay. There's another look.
Well, he's had a couple down the stretch here.
Oh yeah, that ball's out. Yes.
Completely out. Completely out.
Who recovers? That's the big question. You have to recover that ball.
Well, what
San Francisco is challenging the ruling on the field of the runner fumbling and recovering the football. We'll review the play.
There's a call from Larry Nember. And what it would dictate would be the spot of the football. Replay challenge going on. We'll take a timeout.
Double beef fiesta salsa, so good.
Delicious, huh? And these grilled stuffed burritos are only $1.99.
All this flavor for only $1.99? No way.
Like how he told us he's going out on a date with Carmen Electra.
We're just going bowling.
Yeah, right.
Sorry.
Hi, Pete. Do you like my dress?
That'll do.
It's true. Taco Bell's big, tasty grilled stuffed burrito with double the beef, 3 cheeses, and grilled to go to get unbelievable taste for an unbelievable price.
How's she gonna bowl in that?
Think outside the bun.
Hi,
Hi, honey. The holidays were great, but we're still going to need a few things, so if you could stop by Radio Shack and get some batteries, that would be just great. Okay, yeah, 1 second, sir. Also, for the iPod, we're going to need iTrip, and we're also going to need some of those really cute little speakers. Ask the salesman, he'll know which ones. Oh, and hey, for the digital camera, we're going to need an additional memory card, and some photo paper. Oh, and yeah, for your wireless phone, get a charger, and some headset, and one of those little things you can clip to your belt, and some...
All the stuff you need to go with all the stuff you got, only at Radio Shack.
Who cried? I did.
Not me. It was a sad ending and everything.
I saw you with your hand in your chin.
That's called concentrating on the moment. I wasn't crying, okay? I mean, seriously, I don't know why you got...
The Holiday Miracle Sales Event. No real miracles, just $1.99 Jettas until January 2nd.
Boise State, Oklahoma, the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl, tomorrow, New Year's Day, only on Fox. Fox NFL Sunday is sponsored by Volkswagen Jetta. Safe happens.
Mike Nolan throwing out the challenge flag, and Larry Nemmer still trying to determine exactly what happened. And, you know, we were wondering exactly why he would, but as we take a look at the replays, you can see that the ball definitely came out as Tatum Bell lost it. The problem is the Broncos, or pardon me, the 49ers never recovered the football. So all they could be challenging right here, all they could gain out of it would be the spot of the football.
Well, here's the run right here. The ball's out now. Okay, he's down the ball. You'll see it right there under his leg. Looks like, you know, we can't tell, but if the whistle's blown right here, that it's dead. You see a 49er right there. Harris go in, Walt Harris, and recover the ball. But from the rule, the play would be over, and it would just be the spot, like you said earlier, Kurt.
You know, the funny thing is nobody really saw that ball come out from the secondary. You never saw somebody come flying in and slide in and try and dig the ball out. If that would have happened, if they'd have dug the ball out and San Francisco had clear possession of the ball, then you've got an argument for the challenge. But because the way the possession ended at the end of that play, with really Tatum Bell being the last guy to have possession and the official coming in and getting the ball, there's no way that San Francisco can change possession.
Now, the one thing is we could not hear the whistle, but it appeared by that video that the umpire was coming in to get the ball, meaning that the play was over.
It's just so strange. How many times do you see a play like this where the safety sees the ball out and he comes flying into the pile and digs the ball out? I mean, it was such an inconspicuous fumble that nobody really knew. Even Walt Harris, as he came in, was like,
After reviewing the play, the runner clearly fumbled the football, and number 27 for San Francisco picked up the ball and had possession of it. It will be 1st and 10 for San Francisco at the spot of recovery.
So they're saying that it was...
will not be charged with a team timeout.
If that's the case, the whistle was not blown.
11:36 on the game clock.
That's what it means, is that the play was not over.
Well, you know, can we roll this a little bit farther? Let's roll this through, because I've yet to see Walt Harris clearly have possession of the ball.
He comes into your frame right here. There he is.
But see, you see the umpire coming in, the play is over. Andre Wash, the umpire, comes in to get the ball.
I tell you,
but nonetheless, they give it to the 49ers, and that is a huge call because the Broncos, once again, have to win this game in order to make the playoffs, and now it's been a turnover at their own 43-yard line.
Well, that's 3 critical fumbles by Tatum Bell the month of December.
3 fumbles in 3 weeks. The first 2 led to touchdowns. Here's Frank Gore. After Bell fumbled against Arizona, the Cardinals scored a touchdown. Same story last week with the Bengals after they recovered. And right now, Denver with no timeouts. There's still nearly 11.5 minutes left in the ball game, but they've got to find a way to stop this 49er offense and then score a touchdown.
That's going to become a factor. There are no timeouts, because if these guys go down here, they score a field goal, they're going to need those timeouts to go and you know, if they get into a 2-minute or even a 4-minute situation, to move the ball downfield.
Gore on 2nd down. Close to that 1st down marker. Penalty on the play as well.
Holding offense number 85. 10-yard penalty. Repeat second down.
So it won't matter as Vernon Davis is called for the hold. And we talked about it at the beginning of the game. You know, Mike Shanahan said he wanted the Kansas City Chiefs to win, to put his team in a pressure situation. Well, the pressure's been cranked up.
Careful what you wish for.
He might want to take them words back.
On the other side, Mike Nolan said he wanted his team to realize how important it was to win this game, because for a young squad, he feels there's a major difference between a 6-10 finish and a 7-9 win. And his team responding so far. Arnaz Banner gets away and fights down to the 40-yard line. 8-yard pickup on the play.
And that's one of the things that the 49er players have to realize. And the Denver is out of timeouts. You know, don't go out of bounds. Keep yourself in bounds. Let this clock continue to run. Take time off the clock. Limit the opportunities for drives for the Denver Broncos.
A key third down coming really for this Denver defense, as they need to find a way to hold the 49ers without a first down, because right now San Francisco out of field goal range. Smith zips that one. First down 49ers, as it was caught by Taylor Jacobs, but he lost the football as he went down. No signal yet.
Well, the plays have been...
That's Carl Pema. He picked up the football. No official gave a signal, and so the Broncos pick it up and take advantage.
They're having a problem with whistles down there on the field.
They must be frozen.
Man,
they must not have the plastic ones. They got those metal ones. They're stuck to their lips. Let's go back and take a look at this. Here comes the pressure. Alex Smith stands in, hits the slant. Taylor Jacobs has got the ball. Does that ball come out before he was down, before any part of his body hit the ground? Because he rolled across Carl Pema.
And he touches him, so the ball would be right there. I don't know why they're going and running with this. He got touched, so the ball would have to be there if they ruled it a fumble, right?
But once again, there we have the umpire who was involved in the last play. No signal from him on either play. Lots of confusion both times, and this time it's Denver thinking that they won it.
Okay, possession, knees down.
He's down.
He's down. He's down before the ball comes out.
The ruling on the field was that the receiver caught the ball, was not down by contact. The ball landed on the ground, recovered by Denver. First down for Denver.
Now the San Francisco 49ers will challenge this one. They do already. No question about this.
I'll tell you what, that's not good by the officiating crew by not blowing the whistle. They should at least known that he was down by contact. That's when guys go and get hurt on a situation like that.
San Francisco is challenging the ruling on the field that the receiver was down by contact. We'll review the play.
When you have half of the players on the field thinking the play's over, and then you got a handful of guys, you know, running and blocking, and you don't really know what's going on. They need to blow the whistle in this situation. You see it right here. Right there, he's down, he gets touched. Worst case scenario, the ball's down right there.
Just be definitive, one way or the other. Either he was down by contact, or, you know, get up and, you know, do something where they know that the play is still alive. But I agree with you, Tony, because you got half the guys standing there, and the other half are reacting to a play that they still think is alive.
And that's been the key, I think, on both. Is not so much, look, guys make calls one way or the other, you can live with that. But when they don't make a call and no one knows what's going on in the field, that's when not only the injuries happen, but confusion happens, turnovers happen. And this game, at least for the Broncos, is too important to have players stand around wondering, what should I do right now?
Yeah, the officiating crew is down on the field. We're watching from up here. They're sort of looking at each other, wondering, you know, did you blow the whistle? Did you not blow the whistle? They need to go and make it definitive, like you said earlier, Bruce.
For those of you just joining us, San Francisco has challenged what was ruled a turnover on the field. The Denver Broncos needing to win this game in order to get to the playoffs. 49ers lead at 20-16 with 9:17 left to go here in the fourth quarter.
Well, this is our second one in about 3 plays that's been very unusual. San Francisco got it back on kind of a crazy play that we had going to review, but you can see right there Taylor Jacobs with possession of the ball is down. Now the ball comes out loose. The ruling on the field was a fumble. Mike Nolan threw the challenge. They're reviewing it right now, but this is after the 49ers got the ball on a similar play when Tatum Bell fumbled before he went down, but nobody realized it was out. Walt Harris kind of came in. They said he had possession of the ball. We're still questioning whether he had possession of the ball or was just handing it to the umpire. But it's been a few crazy minutes here at Invesco Field.
Kurt Menefee, Daryl Johnston, and Tony Saragusa with you on the final Sunday of the regular season. The NFC playoff picture's all set. The AFC picture, a little cloudy right now. The Denver Broncos win. They are in as the 5th seed. If they lose, the Kansas City Chiefs will get into the playoffs.
Well, we'll catch you up on the scoring so far this game. Started off with a couple of field goals on defensive stands by the Niner defense, but then Champ Bailey on a tip pass takes it back for a touchdown. Moran Norris out in the flat with a big blitz on Alex Smith, gets him the ball, and the fullback gets down the field and in for a touchdown. And then Jay Cutler, who had just come back into the game after sitting out with a possible concussion, throws an interception that Walt Harris brought back for a touchdown.
And now Larry Nimmer's ready with the call.
After reviewing the play, the receiver must hold on to the ball to complete the catch. Therefore, the pass is incomplete. It'll be 4th down for San Francisco. Please put 9:41 on the game clock. 9:41.
I don't know if they have the same angle
San
as we have.
Francisco will not be charged with a timeout.
But it looks like right here, he has possession of the ball. He goes down, it's to his body, the knee is down, obviously, and then the ball comes out. I think it's a reception.
Well, incompletion looks to us as the worst call they could make on this.
Well, it's the one thing that we're not even considering, because I think all 3 of us felt he had established possession and made a move common to the game of football. You know, he catches it, he turns upfield. I was never really looking at whether he had possession. It was more of, was the knee down before he lost possession?
Well, now that you've seen it, have you changed your mind?
No, I think it should have been a catch knee down. San Francisco, I don't know if that was enough for the 1st down. I can't even remember where the ball would have been spotted at anymore.
It was a 10-minute delay there.
And so the 49ers forced to punt. Andy Lee with a high kick.
Interesting decision by David Kirkus.
Yeah, to take that inside his own 10. Broncos needing to drive down the field and get a touchdown on a 70-yard interception return by Champ Bailey, and now they are 94 yards away from the end zone, starting at their own 6-yard line. Cutler, Rob Smith off his hands, and it falls incomplete. Keith Lewis that close to the pick.
Well, since he's come back onto the field as the quarterback, he's had that one good drive. When Quincy Morgan brought the ball out to midfield, Jay Cutler looked like himself. He threw the ball well. He threw it with accuracy, but all those other drives, he has really struggled with his accuracy. He's underthrown deep balls. I just don't know if he's all the way back.
To left. Yeah, it's a question we're all asking ourselves.
From his end zone, Mike Bell. And he is stuck. Manny Lawson with a big hit.
I tell you what, Manny Lawson's had a great game today.
We welcome those of you who watch the San Diego Chargers beat the Arizona Cardinals. 27-20 is the final, and the San Diego Chargers finish up with home field advantage throughout the AFC playoffs.
Well, Manny Lawson, I think when he was drafted by the Niners, I expected him to be kind of an edge rusher in certain situations. He's proven to be a much better cover linebacker than I thought he was going to be. And don't forget, he had that great hustle play in the 1st quarter when he ran down Mike Bell inside the 5-yard line and held him to a field goal attempt.
Here's Cutler on 3rd down. Bad throw. Rod Smith, the closest Bronco there, but Walt Harris had to go off his fingertip, and Harris already has 2 picks and a fumble recovery in this game.
You know what, Moose, I have to agree with you. Cutler is definitely not the same quarterback we saw in the 1st half. With his accuracy, with his decision making, we saw right there that ball, and the last couple balls he's thrown really haven't been, the same person as we saw in the 1st half.
And for those of you just joining us, Cutler was knocked out of the game for a couple of series in the first half. They examined his head. Did not say whether or not he had a concussion, but he did come back and play. Brandon Williams already lost the football. Well, he took the punt in Denver territory, but couldn't hold on to it. Well, the way this officiating crew's called the last two, you're never quite sure until they signal, and they say that the 49ers held on to it.
One good thing, I did hear a whistle. I don't know if you guys heard that. We had stop play there, but better than we've had it a couple series ago.
They put it in some warm water there.
Oh, you got to keep the ball tight to your body in that situation. Brandon Marshall on special teams making a big play, knocking that ball loose. Didn't see who got down, got it, but look at it. He's right in the fetal position. He's covered up and holding on for dear life.
Bring that knees to the chest, man, and hold on. That's when you start grabbing guys by the feet and you start pulling them out from the other team, because now all of a sudden they don't have the leverage and they can't really get that ball out. Because you know they're working for the fingers, and they start getting fingers looking like yours, Moose. All crooked.
From the Denver 41, Frank Gore. Through the hole, Gore into the secondary. He picks up 12 yards, and the clock keeps on going. On Sunday, January 14th at 8/7 Central, it's The Simpsons, my favorite TV show. It's the best TV show I think ever written. Ever.
Animated or everything?
Everything.
Everything?
Wow. Everything. Now, look, I will admit it's not as great as it was 5-6 years ago, but it's still the best show on television.
You gotta like the situations they put the people in.
Bold statement. Bold statement.
Well, you gotta go out on a limb sometimes. First down after the 12-yard gain by Gore. Smith being chased by Engelberger, slides safely to avoid the hit. Well, the Kansas City Chiefs won earlier today, which put pressure on this Bronco team, meaning that Denver needs to win in order to get into the playoffs. If Denver wins, they are the 5th seed. The Jets are number 6. Should Denver lose, Kansas City will slide into the playoffs as the number 6 seed in the AFC. Champ Bailey with the only touchdown for the Broncos in this game, a 70-yard interception return, and trying to help this defense get a stop here on second down. Gore into the arms of Nate Webster. John Engelberger, the former 49er, finally wrapped him up.
This game is so similar, in my opinion, to when San Francisco played Seattle. Really didn't do a whole lot in the first half of that game and came out in the second half and just dominated the entire second half of the game. And the Niners have kind of done the same thing today. I mean, they have just controlled every aspect of the football game in the second half.
Seems like they gain momentum as the game goes on. And Frank Gore, obviously the workhorse. I mean, he's been playing extremely well, downhill every time, not bouncing the ball like a finesse guy, just a power smash mouth. Sort of reminds me of a fullback, just downhill, banging them yards out, Moose.
Here's Smith working from the shotgun on third down, but didn't quite get a chance to get the ball snapped before the play clock got down, and San Francisco was forced to use a timeout. Well, we don't know exactly how it's going to break down in the AFC quite yet. Denver still hoping to get in, but the picture is all set in the NFC. And we will have the first wildcard game for you next Sunday, beginning our coverage at 4 o'clock Eastern time as the 6th seeded New York Giants go to face the NFC East Division champion Philadelphia Eagles right here in high definition on Fox.
That New Jersey Turnpike is going to be loaded with Giant fans going down to Philadelphia. If you're traveling, make sure you get out there nice and early.
Take the train. It's such a nice train.
Yeah, that train is nice. About an hour ride. Comfortable conditions.
Tony, you won a Super Bowl. Moose, you won 3. And I'm shocked that the first piece of advice you have about the playoff picture is travel advice.
It's transportation. You got to get there. Teams have to get the team bus. If it doesn't show up, there's no game.
No game.
Nothing about football at all.
Well, it's the experience. It's the complete experience. When you go to a Super Bowl, it's not just the game. It's that whole experience.
Yeah.
Would you take the train down to Miami if the Eagles make it? No. It's not that great an experience, is it?
No.
Okay.
Train's all right for a couple hours.
There's the Niners looking for the 19-yard line for the first. Smith under pressure. Flags down and the whistles blew apparently just before the snap.
I think he's going to get it on the center. It looked like his
False
head came
start
up.
offense, number 68. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
Adam Snyder, the guilty party.
That's a really nice job by Denver going and stemming when the defensive linemen get down in their position and all of a sudden they start moving and going in different areas, especially when the center comes out and already calls the formation and which way they're going to slide. And you see, they go and they pick all the gaps right there, and there's not enough guys there on the offensive line to go and pick up everybody, and that's why he came scot-free there right up the middle.
Well, the 49ers might want to just pick up some yards. It'll be about a 51-yard field goal attempt from right here, and it's a cold night. You can see Smith changing the play. They go to the air. Smith for Jacobs. No chance. Carl Payman there on the coverage.
Well, Joe Nedney's coming out. We're going to give it a shot.
We'll see if they would not have been better off just picking up yards and making this a shorter kick. And this will be right at 51 yards. Nedney.
Yeah, but up here in Denver, it's almost like a 45-yarder.
Even with the cold?
Yeah, I think the cold negates the altitude.
There's movement before the ball was snapped. And if this is against the 49ers, this could be trouble. Fingers pointing in all directions here.
Well, if they get a penalty on this one, if it's against the 49ers, they got to punt the ball and keep them down there.
We have 91 of the defense with a delay of game, action on the line of scrimmage, causing the offense to false start. That's a 5-yard penalty.
You can't intentionally draw the offensive line offside, and Ebenezer Eckerbond accused of doing that. I don't see what it was there.
Yeah, you can't. You know what? As a defensive lineman, I'm going to go out on a limb here.
Give away secrets?
You can't do it that bad. I mean, you can't go and you know, even drop down to your knee. Once you're on the line of scrimmage, you know, there's other things you can do, but you don't want to do that. I mean, that was very obvious right there. That's a good call.
It helps out Nedney. Now it's only a 46-yard attempt. And it hooks in. And the San Francisco 49ers now go up by 7. 6:14 remaining, and the Broncos needing a touchdown now to tie. You don't suppose they would go for a 2-point conversion to win this thing now, would you? I mean, they have to win in order to make it to the playoffs. You play the tie and send to overtime, right?
Take your chances in overtime.
Well, the Broncos offense is yet to score a touchdown all day long, and they absolutely have to have one right now.
There's the guy right there who can get it done, Champ Bailey. And that guy, whenever he's on the field, is a threat. So a nice return by him earlier, almost.
It's just, you know, we mentioned he's one of the 3 guys up for the defensive MVP of the league, and you know he has done nothing to take away from that today. He had the interception return for a touchdown, but he's such a complete player at the cornerback position. It's just not all about coverage. He's a team guy.
They may want to put him on offense right now. Try and get something going. No offensive touchdowns on the day. And remember, Bailey did play offense at the University of Georgia, but I don't think that's anywhere in the plans right now. All right? I'm not going out on that much of a limb. 49ers defense has had a couple of big stands today. Can they have at least one more? Morgan bobbles it, and so will certainly stay in the end zone. And Denver will begin from their own 20-yard line on this possession. Well, today's game is being produced by Bob Stenner and directed by Mike Roy. The associate director is Art Durazo. Associate producer Wayne Wilson. The broadcast associate Andy Cavanaugh. Sideline producer is Duke Scala. The technical producer Matt Benedict. The technical director Monty Poling. The audio supervisor is Pat Lucatoro. The pregame show was produced by Scott Ackerson and directed by Bob Levy. Studio technical supervisor is Jack Simmons. Senior producer is Bill Brown. Executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. Starting from their own 20-yard line, Mike Bell picks up a couple. And you know, our crew has worked so hard all season long, but these people right here this weekend, it's unbelievable. Through 3 feet of snow, literally, here in the Denver area, and not having all the equipment here and all types of technical difficulties just to get it put together, to get this broadcast put on air. People will never understand how hard they work and how much we appreciate it.
I just want to say, too, they're a lot better looking in person. You know, don't let that discourage you if you have a person there that's a family member or something.
Second down for the Broncos. Oh, it's broken up. Javon Walker, the intended receiver, but Chad Williams there to swat that one away.
Did Chad Williams get that swatted down, or did Javon Walker just put it on the ground?
Oh, yeah, Williams whiffed, and Walker just missed it.
Got to catch those. You want to do something in the playoffs and make a run at it, you got to catch those passes.
And they've got to catch it to get to the playoffs. Needing the 30 here on third down. Whistles blow before the snap.
False start offense, number 64. 5-yard penalty, still third down.
That's on the left tackle, Eric Pierce. You know, guys, we're talking about all the hard work those guys on our crew have done. We should give a special thanks to Turner Broadcasting, FSN Rocky Mountain, and really all the crew that helped us out. Once again, this was a very, very difficult project to put this together. And as always, we thank our stats crew, Ed Svita, Justin Kutcher, Mike Eldridge, and Bill Cullen for their hard work.
We've all talked about the airport being closed, but I-70's closed, so our truck is somewhere still 300 miles outside.
Say hello to those guys, too.
A lot of wire holding this thing together. Mike Bell out of the backfield. Looking for the 30, gets it. Out across the 40. And the Broncos pick up a much-needed first down.
Mike Bell does a great job on this screen of going and finding his offensive lineman. You'll see him right here. He'll go, set up, make it look like he's blocking. Now the ball's to him. Now he's going to go freeze it right there. Those big guys right here, these two guys, they're the guys you want to find. He does a nice job of cutting back, and that's why you got the first down.
24-yard pickup on 3rd and 12. Takes it to the 42.
Follow the beef, Moose.
Follow the beef.
Moose was the beef. That was the problem. Here's Mike Bell. Gets away. And Bell with a nice gain of 8 yards on the play. And you can see why during crunch time they like Mike Bell to run the football.
Well, I mean, we saw earlier in this quarter when Tatum Bell put one on the ground and San Francisco actually got the ball back. The defense came out, made a stop, didn't cost him any points. But the last 3 games he's had critical fumbles, and Mike Bell, Mike Shanahan's not going to put up with that. And they had a rotation all year long, but it's not much longer before Tatum Bell might not get the snaps that he's getting out at the beginning of the games because of the mistakes he's making late.
Cutler working from the shotgun. Pass caught underneath, and Javon Walker going to be right near that first down spot. He got it.
They're doing a nice job of changing it up. Little screen pass, run, pass to the outside. They're not going all together with just a drop back pass where, San Francisco can just pin their ears back and bring the pressure. And I think, keeping San Francisco off balance right now is really providing justice to this drive.
In 49er territory. Zips that one in, and that's David Kirkus. And Kirkus picks up 10 yards.
You don't have to get it all in one chunk, and we've seen Jay Cutler really struggle this half since he's been in after getting dinged up a little bit in the first half. But on this drive, it's slants, it's little hitches, it's a screen pass. They're not getting the ball really far downfield because his accuracy has been off the majority of this half.
Ball's at the 36-yard line. Draw play. Mike Bell. And a good job by Bryant Young sniffing that one out and That's the first time today we've called BY's name. And we welcome those of you that watch the Philadelphia Eagles finish off their regular season as NFC East champs against the Atlanta Falcons. Right now, just over 2 minutes left. The Denver Broncos needing a touchdown to tie and a win to get into the playoffs, trailing the 49ers. Second effort, Brandon Marshall makes the catch down to the 16-yard line. And initially, that one hit him in the chest. He bobbled it, but then he hauled it in.
I tell you what, he got really lucky. There's a saying among the players, you don't get 2 touches to make a catch, and he's lucky that he was not separated from the ball with an opportunity to get it on the deflection.
Broncos looking for the end zone to get to the postseason. Well, the San Francisco 49ers have put up a great effort on both sides of the football today. The Broncos, they've struggled offensively without an offensive touchdown all afternoon, but with 2 minutes left, what better time to get it than now? If they get a score and tie it, they have a chance at making it to the playoffs. Here's Mike Bell with a run after the catch down inside the 10-yard line. And Bell trying to keep the Broncos' hopes alive. If they win this game, they clinch a playoff berth. If they lose it, they are done and on the outside.
That's what's been so impressive about this drive, with everything on the line, and Jay Cutler playing erratic in the second half. He's put it together when he had to.
Towards the end zone, touchdown Broncos! Tony Scheffler with the catch.
Nice hurry-up offense. Beautiful execution by Jay Cutler.
Boy, it looked like Mark Roman, the safety for the 49ers, was just a fingertip away from stopping this. Tony Scheffler up, coming across. Oh, small window to get that ball, and heck of a throw by Jay Cutler, who's really been erratic this half.
Well, remember, the extra point's not automatic. Last week, Cincinnati blew one that would have tied it at the end of regulation here, but the Broncos don't, as Jason Elam evens the score. Jay Cutler, his first touchdown pass of the day, the first for this Broncos offense. It's a 9-yard score that evens things at 23. Nice drive by the Broncos, nearly 5 minutes with no timeouts.
Jay Cutler really just standing in that pocket, a lot of confidence. I mean, if you were to not know that he is a rookie, he just is back there like a 10-year veteran, just waiting for his receivers. And like you said, it was just threading the needle on that play right there.
One of the things that all of his teammates talk about is his composure, his demeanor on the field. And in a situation with everything riding on the season, they go down the field, and everybody talked about that 99-yard drive last week against Cincinnati when he brought them down the field and they went ahead. You know, he's followed it up this week with everything on the line, and really having not played all that well in the second half. He got dinged in the first half, but with the Broncos season hanging in the balance, takes him right down the field, really has his best drive this half, his most accurate throwing.
When needed most, too.
10 plays, 80 yards with no timeouts. And now it's on to San Francisco, who does have one timeout remaining, to see if they can get maybe a long field goal or some type of score to try and win this ball game. They've led most of the second half, but keep in mind that the Broncos defense needing to come up with a stop in order to send this game into overtime. Maurice Hicks. Good return by Hicks out to the 34. Well, while the 49ers are at the 34, I want to remind you that 24 is coming your way. A 2-night, 4-hour event. 2 weeks from tonight, 8 o'clock, 7 Central.
All right, now, The Simpsons is the best show on TV now.
Better than 24.
That's
no way.
Come on.
It is. It's 24. 24.
I'm taking 24. 24 is unbelievable.
Have you ever seen the detective work that Police Chief Wiggum does? I mean, Zach Bauer has no chance. He could never work for the Springfield Police Department. Never. 49ers take it over at the 34. One timeout remaining. Smith up top. That's his tight end, Vernon Davis. Davis wrapped up almost right away. Hamza Abdullah on the tackle. Well, keep in mind, as soon as we are done here, the OT comes your way. We'll get you all caught up on the playoff picture in both the NFC and AFC, plus word as to Bill Cowher and his future as head coach of the Pittsburgh Steelers. Smith in trouble. Lucky that was picked off. Frank Gore, the intended receiver, John Lynch, was right there on top of him.
Well, you talk about a game of inches. Lucky that John Lynch didn't pick it off, but lucky that Frank Gore didn't get a hold of that. Because if he'd have turned around and got north and south, he had about 20 yards of open real estate.
.52 seconds left. 49ers looking for the 44-yard line for the first. Frank Gore escapes a couple of tacklers, but won't be able to pick up the first down as he stopped about 2 yards short.
Well, you go back to that drive earlier this half where the Broncos had to burn all 3 timeouts in that drive. Boy, wouldn't they love to have a couple of those right now to kill this clock and maybe have a shot for a field goal attempt in regulation.
Now they're just going to burn the clock out, punt it away, cover it, go in overtime.
Andy Lee on the punt, and
you got to punt this one out of bounds, don't you?
Yeah, David Kirkus
for the return.
Absolutely, you don't want him to have a big return on you.
They don't.
Or just driving through the end zone.
Yeah, another option.
That's what he does. Now the clock stops with 1 second left on the touchback. It helps to be at home. Doesn't it?
Yeah.
Well, the Broncos, last time they took it over, started at their own 20 with no timeouts and down by a touchdown, but Jay Cutler was perfect.
That was a big play right there. The short little dump off on the screen on 3rd and long, got him the first down, and then Jay Cutler got into a rhythm. And then finally came back and hit a deep ball to Brandon Marshall right there. Lucky, usually it's only 1 touch per catch in the NFL. And then, boy, he really threaded one to Tony Scheffler for the touchdown.
And that will be the final play of regulation. So we will go to overtime, tied at 23. And, you know, we should mention, we've been talking all night long, all day long, that the Broncos need to win this game in order to make the playoffs. Officially, they can make it with a tie. So right now, Denver is playing not to lose in order to make it into the playoffs. Either they win and they're in, or they tie and they are in. Should San Francisco win this game, Kansas City becomes the final team in the AFC playoff picture. Do you play any differently in a game in which you know that your goal is simply not to lose versus not to win, or do you go out and play the same way in overtime?
I've been in many situations where you go out and you try not to lose and you find yourself losing anyway. You got to go out there with, you know, you want to win this game, and that's how San Francisco is going to go out today. They want to go out there and win this game and knock these guys out.
Overtime in the National Football League. The first team to score wins. All replays will be handled by the booth in the press box. What else you got? 2 timeouts. All rules and timing of the 4th quarter apply. San Francisco will call the toss. Heads and tails. Heads is called. It's tails.
Did they win? We're not going to play. We're just calling the toss.
Well, they won what counts in the minds of their fans right now. The Broncos will have it first, trying to get to the playoffs.
The celebration is almost over, so get to the Chevy Red Tag event, where the biggest factory-to-dealer incentives of the year mean the best prices of the season. And 07 Chevy vehicles come with the GM 100,000-mile warranty. Combined with roadside assistance and courtesy transportation, it's the best coverage in America. See some red, save some green. Hurry, it all ends January 2nd. See your local Chevy dealer.
Ooh. Oh.
Want to get away? Now you can. With Southwest Airlines Internet Specials, you can fly.
Back and go. It was a season of what if. This team started out so well, a dominant defense through the first 5 games, only giving up 1 touchdown. But they had a 4-game slump in the middle of the season. Switched to the rookie quarterback, Jay Cutler from Jake Plummer. Bounced back, but on a day in which they needed to win to get into the playoffs, and struggled up until this 4th quarter. But now they've gotten it into overtime, and Quincy Morgan gets it off to a decent start, taking it out to the 26-yard line. And here comes Cutler. And this is overtime so far this season. Home team 7-3, and that includes the Denver Broncos, who back early in the season beat the Kansas City Chiefs 9-6 in an overtime game. And who would have thought that those are the 2 teams fighting for the final spot in the playoffs right now in the AFC. Kansas City lost that one, but they could win if the Broncos lose this one. You tired? Who's that? I thought I heard an exhale from you. Here's Brandon Marshall. Marshall gets nowhere.
You know, one of the big things in overtime, though, when you get into a situation when you have some of the elements to combat is, the wind. And, throughout this half, it looks as though the direction the 49ers are going, the ball's traveling much better on the punts, on the kicks. So Denver gets the first shot, but we'll have to wait and see. Sometimes, we just saw the graphic about, teams who get the ball first have won 5 times this year in overtime, but I wonder if that wind could be a big factor here in this overtime period.
Cutler. Finds Rod Smith. Smith diving for that first down marker. We'll see how close he got.
Well, he got a heck of a spot.
He really did.
He got a heck of a spot.
And keep in mind, we don't have our 1st and 10 line, that yellow line you normally see on the field, because of some weather issues here and not able to actually get here.
Now, I think we have to point it out again. This guy right here that you see on your television screen, Jay Cutler, is a rookie. I'm sure people right now are not really seeing him as a rookie, the way he's playing and the confidence he has, dropping back into the pocket. But it's amazing to me to see how under control, cool he is right now in this situation.
Making only his 5th start. Hands it off to Mike Bell. Bell up the gut. And he will pick up 7 yards.
Not only a rookie, but a rookie who was knocked out of the lineup in the first half. So, I mean, you add that to everything else he's done so far this afternoon, especially that drive to get down and tie the game up.
Yeah, we didn't know whether he was going to come back from that head injury or not. And, we even questioned whether he was playing at 100%. And I'll tell you right now, he looks better than ever.
He certainly seems to have regrouped, led them on that drive in the 4th quarter to tie the game, and now trying to drive them to the win and into the playoffs. Bell. Oh, what a collision right at the line of scrimmage. Mike Bell ran right into Bryant Young, and Young won that battle.
Just watching the offensive line of the Denver Broncos, really uncharacteristic of them to come off in a man situation where they're just firing off the ball. We see a lot of zone with the cutbacks on them, but right here they're just coming off the ball, trying to go and pound the ball with Mike Bell right up the middle right there. And that San Francisco defensive line, they like that. They don't want to be running sideline to sideline. These guys aren't built for finesse. They're built to go and have the ball pounded at them. And I think Denver's fallen right into the hands of the San Francisco's defense.
You can see Young being helped off the field after that helmet-to-helmet collision.
There's one of the guys right there. I mean, he just looks like a run stopper to me.
Denver only 2 for 10 on 3rd downs today, needing only 2 yards this time. Mike Bell alone in the backfield. He gets the carry and tripped up. Keith Lewis made the stop, but Bell fell before he even got back to the line of scrimmage.
Well, this has been their best defensive call all afternoon, bringing pressure off the edges. And you see here, I mean, they're coming both sides. Both safeties coming off Who is that? Is it Brandon Marshall, number 15? He motions across. Now he's got to recognize that there's a guy on the outside ready to blitz. He got by him in his motion, and there's no way he's going to be able to get back underneath to get a block on him.
Lewis going over to Cutler and sort of not intimidating that rookie.
49ers defense stands up, forces the Broncos to punt on this first possession in overtime. Brandon Williams makes the fair catch at about the 12-yard line. 49ers will take over for the first time in OT. Tomorrow, the Tostitos Bowl Bash begins with the AT&T Cotton Bowl Classic. Nebraska taking on Auburn. Then is the Tostitos Fiesta Bowl as Boise State tries to stay undefeated, battling Oklahoma. The Tostitos Bowl Bash begins tomorrow at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific in high definition only on Fox. The Bronco crowd chanting for this defense to come up with a big play or a big stand. Denver needing a win or tie to make it into the AFC playoffs. Frank Gore. And Gore picks up 5 yards on the play.
Well, I tell you, I am so impressed with him. I've got to see him play on TV during the course of the season or watching tape on him getting ready for an upcoming opponent when he was on the other side. And I tell you, he's everything I thought he was going to be today and more. I mean, he's really carried the San Francisco 49er offense all afternoon.
128 yards rushing for Gore. His 9th 100-yard game of the season. Smith, all kinds of time, and there's Gore up the backfield. Makes the grab and gets the first down. Well, the Denver Broncos got a couple of early field goals, and that was it. Until this deflection landed in the hands of Champ Bailey. He took it back 70 yards. They led it 13-0, but the 49ers came out in the second half. It took the opening possession the length of the field to score, and then got a defensive score of their own as Walt Harris took it in from 28 yards out. That gave the 49ers the lead, but on the final drive of the first half, or second half, excuse me, fourth quarter, Jay Cutler to Tony Scheffler for the touchdown. The Broncos tie it, send it to overtime, and can keep their playoff hopes alive as Warren Norris gets the carry.
Looks like Larry Allen's slow getting up now, too.
He's been running all over the field today, pulling him and out on the edge. I mean, for an older guy, I mean, I remember playing against him. Talk about a smash mouth guy. Strongest guy I've ever played against. Probably the best player I ever played against. But just watching him here today, I mean, he's just he's a force to be reckoned with on that offensive line.
And what a pickup he has been for the 49ers. Another guy that a lot of people thought may have been done, but earned his way back into the Pro Bowl. Michael Robinson in at tailback. Smith. Robinson. And Robinson, good second effort out to the 40-yard line and a gain of 13.
He's creating himself a nice little niche here on the third down package for the San Francisco 49ers. In his collegiate career at Penn State, you know, I'm sure he makes the defense think quite a bit when he's lined up back there, all the things that he can provide for an offense.
4th round pick out of Penn State. He was a quarterback and one of those guys that came into the NFL, and he was more than happy to switch positions as long as it would get him a job. Frank Gore back in. Gore. Couple of moves, and Gore gets it out to midfield. And, you know, that was one of those runs that you really have to see again to appreciate.
Yeah, and we're going to take a look at it from behind so you can see kind of what Frank Gore sees coming from the side. Now he's going to come, he's looking to bounce it outside. He's going to want to get to the outside, but he catches a flash of blue right there, and then he gets back inside. He's got such good patience, and he's in such control of his body that it's easy for him to make the cuts back to the inside if he sees that flash of the opponent color.
The offensive line does a nice job of staying on the defensive lineman, and he does a great job of setting up the blocks for him, making their job easier.
Gore again, this time straight up the middle, and he'll gain 5 yards on the play before being stopped by Ian Gold.
Well, we talked about it earlier. We talked about Frank Gore yesterday, and he says he likes watching film on other players and see what they do and try to go and look at guys like
finish your story, Tori.
Somebody's talking to me. This guy.
You hear those voices in your head again?
Yeah, unbelievable.
Here's Gore on second down, looking to try and keep this drive alive. No running room. He gets back to the line of scrimmage, and that's it.
Like I was saying earlier, looking at guys like LaDainian Tomlinson and seeing what they do, but I think players around the league are now going to be looking at him. I'll tell you what, the way he's been running today, downhill, setting up blocks, just being an all-purpose back, going out making catches. And that guy right there has been the workhorse for this offense today.
And Tiki Barber threw up a big number for him to chase last night with that 230 plus against the Redskins. And Frank Gore got off to kind of a slow start this afternoon. But I tell you, the one impressive thing, he seems to get stronger and stronger as the game goes on.
Big third down for this Denver defense as they try and hold San Francisco, and confusion on that play as Alex Smith is throwing downfield. Brian Gilmore cutting short.
That is the next progression for this offense. There's a lot of young guys on here. It's their first year in Norv Turner's system. But right there's a lack of confidence between Alex Smith and Brian Gilmore, because he threw it to the spot that Alex Smith thought he was going to break his route to, and Brian Gilmore broke it to a different spot. So when you talk about having a guy on the outside you can trust, and we've seen Jay Cutler go to Rod Smith at critical times for the Broncos, Alex Smith doesn't have that guy. A very critical third down. He really doesn't have that guy yet to go to get the first down.
And the 49ers are forced to punt, as it would have been about a 62-yard field goal attempt, and you don't want to try that one even in Denver in overtime. 7 minutes, 1 second left. Broncos trying to get either a win or a tie in order to make it into the playoffs. Tomorrow is the Tostitos Bowl Bash, beginning with the Cotton Bowl, Nebraska and Auburn. And then it's Oklahoma and Boise State going at it in the Fiesta Bowl. The Tostitos Bowl Bash, all starting at 11:30 Eastern, 8:30 Pacific, right here on Fox.
Sitting on the couch with the clicker watching those games, huh, Moose?
Well, John Elway made his name in situations like this in a Denver Bronco uniform, both in games at Mile High, the old Mile High Stadium, and in Cleveland.
Yeah. That's the big one.
Cutler deflected, incomplete. And Cutler doesn't have to get them into the end zone, just in the field goal position.
Well, Tony's talked about this guy only being a rookie, and one of the things you had to admire was how he's bounced back from a real rough afternoon. Right there, Anthony Adams gets and bangs his head onto the turf, and he was a little woozy in the first half, and Jake Plummer came in, and at the point that Jay Cutler felt he could get back on the field, he came back in and has been a little bit erratic, but when it has mattered most, he's played his best this second half and in overtime.
Here's Mike Bell. And Bell keeps on pushing out to the 17-yard line. Give him 6. And, you know, since that fumble, we haven't seen Tatum Bell back at all. Now, he looked like he might have been a little dinged up when he fumbled the ball, but we don't know if it's because of that or because he fumbled, because the last couple of weeks after he's turned it over, Mike Shanahan's been reticent to give him the ball back.
Well, it's about trust. I don't think Mike Shanahan trusts him right now. And, you know, fool me once, fool me twice, but you're not going to fool me a third time, and he did it again to him today. With their season hanging in the balance, I don't think he can afford to have Tatum Bell on the field right now.
Cutler from the shotgun on third down. Crossing is Javon Walker. Did he make the first down? He needed to get to the 21. We'll see where this spot is and where that official is. They got it. Once again, maybe a generous spot, but they keep the chains moving. All right, we're now under 6 minutes, and I asked you earlier, do you play to win or do you play not to lose? Now that the game has gotten this late, does your strategy change?
Play to win.
No.
You don't want to back in. I mean, Mike Shanahan's whole thought process today was, I hope Kansas City wins, so we have to win to get in. I want to build momentum and consistency going into the playoffs. It's not about getting there. It's about making a push when we get there.
There's Tatum Bell back into the game for the first time right after we mentioned it, and he takes the catch, only picks up 2 yards.
I thought we weren't going to see him at this juncture of the game. It's a credit to Mike Shanahan for having the trust.
It's a credit to Mike Bell also. I mean, there was no reason for him to come back in the game. Mike Bell has been doing a great job of blocking up on the line of scrimmage. We saw him in a couple screens earlier. He's done a great job of keeping the ball going, getting the first downs, and running the ball as hard as you can run as a running back.
And by the way, because of the time of this OT, there will be no OT on Fox tonight, but we will get you all set with the playoff picture when this game is done. Flags before the snap. Here's the call from Larry Nemmers.
False start offense, number 50. 5-yard penalty, still second down.
Keep in mind, the playoff picture is simple. The NFC is all set as the Giants clinched that 6th and final seed last night. They will play at Philadelphia in a wild card matchup next Sunday on Fox, beginning at 4 o'clock Eastern time. The AFC is where the decision is still to be made. If the Broncos win or tie this ball game, they are the 5th seed. The Jets are number 6. If the Broncos lose, the Jets are the 5th seed, and Kansas City gets that final spot. Timeout taken by the Niners.
Timeout, San Francisco. That's their first timeout of the overtime.
Well, tonight on Fox, animation domination begins with the best show on television, The Simpsons. Then it's American Dad, Family Guy, and a special bonus episode of American Dad. Prepare to get dominated tonight, 8 Eastern, 7 Central, only on Fox. Viewer discretion is advised.
Shouldn't they give the bonus one to the best show on television?
You can't have too much of a good thing, especially on New Year's Eve. You know,
I mean, no, Family Guy. Why did they get the bonus?
No, you don't want to give too much of a good thing. That's the point I'm making. Because that it could be bad for you.
Me and Moose are sticking with 24.
It's like when you have like a really good dessert. You don't want to have too much of it. You have to back off so that you still appreciate it. And that's what it is with The Simpsons. Just enough to keep you happy. Oh, the Denver Broncos watching the clock with 4:52 remaining. A win or tie gets them into the postseason. Cutler going for Marshall. He made the catch and then dropped it. Incomplete. Brandon Marshall unable to haul that one in.
And that has been his trademark the latter part of the season when he's had his most production are fantastic catches. He had one last week in the Cincinnati game. I still don't know how he got his feet down there. That's a diving catch, but I've seen him make catches much more difficult than that one.
Marshall, the 4th-round pick out of Central Florida, really coming on since Cutler took over at quarterback. That would have been a 20-yard pickup at a time they could use it. 3rd and long, needing the 32. That one skipped to Marshall, incomplete.
Well, we talked about it. They're trying to win this game. If they were trying to go for a tie, they would have been running the ball and trying to run that clock down. But right now they're going to punt it away, and the defense is going to come out and have to hold this 49ers offense, who's been playing pretty well.
You see no ties in the National Football League in the last 4 years. The Broncos would be the happiest team to have a tie in probably the last 40 years.
Talk about squashing momentum, though. There's no momentum with a tie.
No.
I mean, it's...
If you're in the playoffs, you'll take it however you get there, as opposed to watching on TV, wouldn't you? Here's Brandon Williams. Good return out near the 40. 52 yards on the punt, 12 on the return. Just under 4.5 minutes remaining. Keep in mind, the NFC playoffs begin on Fox next Sunday with the Giants at the Eagles in a wild card matchup. Coverage begins 4 o'clock Eastern in high definition right here on Fox.
What a roller coaster ride it has been for the New York Giants this year. I mean, they've been counted out so many times to come back, and then counted out again, and then they come back. And
I think you got to take your hat off to Tiki Barber. He really sparked that team yesterday. I mean, he was running better than I've ever seen him. It's going to be a shame that he's, you know, going to be his last year. That guy still has 3 or 4 years left in him. Who's we played against, and I'm sure you played with running backs who don't even have close to what he has left in his tank and still playing.
First down at the 39. Reverse. Brian Gilmore. Alex Smith gets a block. Big run by Gilmore, and his quarterback helping out, taking John Lynch out of the picture. 20 yards on the run.
We saw them try and run a reverse earlier in the game, but it was John Lynch who had the backside. Now watch this guy. He's going to come in. He's going to chase the backside. John Lynch played it smart. He saw the reverse coming, got upfield. There goes Carl Payma down inside. He's out of it. Now John Lynch has got to get out there, but he's got Alex Smith out in front of him. Does enough to get in his way to allow Brian Gilmore to get back inside.
John Lynch does do his job, though. His responsibility is to turn that play back inside for his help coming on him.
Ball's on the Denver 41. Smith looking, had to get rid of that one probably before it was ready. Brian Gilmore running out the pattern, but pressure coming up front. Right about now, it's about a 59-yard attempt from where they are, and you can see that Nedney's season-long 51, his career-long 56, and you guys think that the altitude here is going to help him out?
Well, I definitely know that the ball is traveling better the direction the 49ers are going right now. He did hit a 56-yarder in pregame, so he's about 3 yards short of that distance.
Gore. And Frank Gore gets 2 of those 3 yards. Well, guys always wonder how far they can kick it in pregame. Joe Nedney went to try and figure that out, and this is from 56 yards away.
That was a long time ago.
And that was the same direction that he's kicking, or would be kicking this field goal if he was about to try it.
Temperatures were a lot warmer then. Make any difference?
I don't know. I'm not a kicker, but I wouldn't think so. When I walked up the stairs here, I know there's a lack of oxygen. I know it's a little thin here. I've been sweating for the last half hour, but...
Third down. Gilmore gets the first. Down to the 25-yard line. 14 more, and the Niners are definitely in field goal range.
Good execution on this pass play right here. Good throw by Alex Smith. Good route by Brian Gilmore on the outside. We saw them out of sync a little bit on the last drive. They come back on this critical third down and are in sync.
Every time they brought pressure, Alex Smith really didn't throw the best ball or made bad decisions. I'm really surprised that they gave him that amount of time in the backfield to make that throw.
Niners go with 2 tight ends. Ball's on the 25. Frank Gore. And Gore will fight for 4 more. Now let me ask you guys, how aggressive can you be if you're Denver's defense right now, knowing they're already in field goal range and that you can't lose this game and make the playoffs?
You start putting your helmet on the football. When they're handing the ball off to Frank Gore, you start trying to put a helmet on that football. If that first guy has got him wrapped up, everybody else coming in, punching, putting a helmet on it, anything you can to try and dislodge that ball.
Gang tackling. You got to run to the ball. Right now, they need to bring pressure. You need to go and meet the guy in the backfield, and hopefully when he has the exchange going, you go and cause a fumble. That's the only chance I think Denver has right now to get a turnover.
Yeah, it's not just about tackles, it's turnovers. Broncos need one. 31st carry for Frank Gore. He's got 152 yards on the ground. And we reached a 2-minute warning here in overtime. So Mike Nolan, in the game that he said was important for his team, because there's a huge difference between a 7-9 finish and 6-10, is in position to not only get to 7-9, but knock the Denver Broncos out of the AFC playoffs and put the Kansas City Chiefs in.
Well, I think that just adds to the importance of this game because, you know, Mike Nolan has said, you know, last year we weren't very good. We really didn't have a chance to win a lot of games. We finished 4-12, but never felt like we had a chance going in. I think they feel they're a much better team this season, but to finish 6-10 and only be 2 games better than the previous year when you really felt you had no chance, that I just think being able to knock off Denver in a situation where they had to win, a playoff-bound team that you prevented from going, getting to 7-9, ending the streak of consecutive double-digit losing seasons. I mean, 4-12 back-to-back. It's going to be such a positive thing if really what his mindset was, this is all about 2007. This team is going to have just such a huge emotional lift going into the offseason.
And it would be an emotional letdown for the Broncos if Joe Nedney's able to make this 36-yard attempt. Andy Lee with the hold. The snap from Brian Jennings. It's up, and he missed it. No, it's good. It went through. Wow.
I thought you saw something I didn't see there, Kurt.
I missed the call. The field goal is good as Joe Nedney puts it in from 36 yards out. Take another look.
Well, we've talked about the air and everything being here. This stadium, the air just went completely out of this stadium. It has just gone deafeningly silent.
The 49ers get the victory 26-23 in overtime. They finished 7-9, but more importantly, the Denver Broncos needed to win or tie to get into the AFC playoffs. They do neither. They lose. The Kansas City Chiefs are now in the playoffs.
It's not quiet in Kansas City right now. You can guarantee.
We'll be back in Denver right after this.